Hello, and welcome back. I hope you're doing well. So, let's have a conversation. Why are people leaving Christianity? Why are people waking up and realizing, nah, this is not a religion for me? So, yes, while people are coming in, and also yesterday we had Mark Caesar. We were going to have a look at one of your video yesterday. So if Mark does come in here, we could have a look at Mark's video. Yes, so how are you all doing? I hope you're well. Hey, Michaela. Yes, Mark is here. Hello, Mark. Hello. And how are you today, Michaela? Yes, good. Mark, how are you, Mark? Thank you, Michaela. Thank you. And hey, Vila, what's up? How are you, Vila? Okay, Mark. Yes, Mark, I'm going to put the link in the chat now. Okay. That's the link. Why not come in? Let's talk. Yes. We were going to do your video yesterday, Mark, and we couldn't do it yesterday. But today, why not? I mean, I'm here. And if anybody would like to have a conversation, why not? It's a Friday. And yeah, we're here. We're, well, happy to be alive. No better time than this, no better time than the present. So I've titled this Why People Are Leaving Christianity. And Mark, yeah, your video is only 3 minutes long. So Michaela, yes. Hello, Michaela.
Hello.
Hello, and how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You're not on Clubhouse today.
I'm great. How are you?
Hi,
Not
Estelle.
today, no.
Hello, Michaela.
Hey, Mark.
Hello. No, I'm not on Clubhouse today.
Hello, Michaela.
There's a bit of a feedback.
No, I'm not on
Um,
Clubhouse today.
yeah, hang on a second.
Okay, try now.
Oh, that's better. Mark, it's nothing to do
Yeah,
with
I
you.
know, cause I still had the video up on my phone from
Or did
YouTube.
you? Okay,
So
okay. That's what it was. That's
yes,
what it
I was
was.
wondering, and then I realized I had that on.
Okay, so Mark did a video 2 days ago. Was it 2 days ago, Mark, or 3 days ago? I can't hear Mark, I can't hear you. Can't hear you. I could hear you when you came on, but now I can't hear you. Oh, hang on. Just Mark, do you want to go out and then come back in? Go out, come back in. Let's see. People are waking up. That is why they're leaving Jesus in the dust. Hey, Dean Kruger, how are you doing? People have to wake up. People have to wake up. Yes, they have to wake up and realize that the Jesus story does not work for nobody. The Jesus story is just, yeah, I think I can hear you now. Mark, I think I hear
It's
you
just a
now.
story.
Oh, no,
That's what it
that
comes
was
down
Michaela.
to. Oh
I still
yes,
can't.
it's me. But
Yeah, Michaela,
wait, is that
speak.
Mark?
Michaela, speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Michaela. Just can't hear Mark
Yes,
just
but
yet.
it. Oh, that's weird. Um, I'm like, when it comes down to it, right? People are understanding that it's just that, a story. It's a fairy tale. And
Mm.
people need to wake up to that, especially considering the climate of the world. I mean, I'm like, over a silly book, people have fought wars, people have been murdered, oppressed, simply because of what a bunch of men wrote in a book 2,000 years ago. I mean, just think about it.
Mark, it says that your mic isn't connected. Mike, your Mark, Mike, Mark, your mic is not connected.
How's that now?
Yes, that's it. That's
I
it.
can, we can hear you. Yay!
That's better now. Now I've got everything shut down, so it's all fine.
What time is it over there?
It is 5:16 a.m.
AM.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
I get up disgustingly early. I mean, when I had a really bad knee, I was going for a ride about midnight each night, and I was doing that for quite a few years, and I can't get out of the habit of waking up at midnight, so that's just me.
Gosh. There's no way you're getting me at 5 a.m. in front of a computer. It's just no way. I'm
Well, the
just
thing
too
is, I've been here for
sleepy.
hours, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Have you
seriously.
been to bed? Been to bed at all?
Yeah, I don't sleep that much. I get 3, maybe 4 hours a night, so that's fine. That's all I've
Right.
been all my life, so just the way I am.
My sleep
Michaela?
schedule has been inconsistent myself, actually.
Mm.
I'm like, which is kind of crazy because I was actually, for those of you who know the app, it's an app called Clubhouse, and I actually fell in
Oh
asleep in a
gosh.
room that Miss Esther was in.
Oh gosh. Please don't listen. Last night I made the silly mistake of it was bedtime and I went on Clubhouse thinking, okay, I'll listen to these people and I might just drift off to sleep. It was a that was a bad it was a bad mistake because I went into a room and these people were having conversations that it made me so angry, but I couldn't join in because I was trying to sleep.
Girl, I'm like, listen, it do be like that, and the amount of people I have to gather they behind on that app doesn't make any type of sense. We will not tolerate any slander against Black women or the LGBTQ community over here. I will
No,
greet
we
you.
shouldn't, and we shouldn't. No, we shouldn't. So,
I'm like, and
Mark,
then of course the Christians are fools on there themselves. They acted a mess.
you wait, hang on. Christians would say that you, who's the unbeliever, you're the fool. But you say the Christians
Right,
are the
they
fool.
would.
Mm, mm, mm,
They
mm, mm,
are. I
mm,
mean,
mm.
I'm like, oh, it is foolish for a bunch of dogs to believe in fairy tales. That is foolish. It's ironic when they say that.
Okay, so we've got Mark, right? And Mark has a video. Mark, is that your very first video on your channel?
Yep, that's my very first video, yep.
Okay, and I logged into, I was thinking, yes, the first video from Mark, this is great. And then I saw the topic, I was thinking, I scratched my head first, thinking, okay, this is big. The video was only 3 minutes long, but oh, it's one of those that, listen, you've got to have your head screwed on. If you have not got your head screwed on, you can't understand it. So I couldn't finish. And today we've got Mark, and I am hoping that you would be able to, we'll go over your video and you'll be able to tell us what's what the video is about and break it down in layman's terms. Okay, Mark?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Layman's terms, not okay, you'll understand why. So Mark, have you got the video and you can to share that video, or do you want me to do it?
I'd rather you do it because I really don't know how. I mean,
Okay.
I'm brand new to YouTube, so I really don't know how.
Hey Villa.
Hi, you're right.
Hello. Oh goodness, you're doing a fantastic job with Vaughn. Ooh.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, Mark, just 1 second. Let me go find the video. How's your daughter, Villa?
Yeah, she's good. She's good. Gone to bed already. Well, I say already. She's
Has
been
she?
in bed since 8. Yeah. Well, she's 6.
Oh, 6. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So she normally goes to bed at 8 every night. That's been routine for a while. Special occasions, or if I have like patients where I want to do something with her, she'll stay up till 9, 10. But that's like luxury because she's like me. She loves her sleep and she'll happily sleep all day.
Oh,
I
bless
wish
her.
I could get more sleep. I just can't stay asleep.
Okay, I'm trying to find the video. Just 1 second. History. Let me go in my history. Guys, just carry on talking.
Okay, well, if
While
we're
I
talking about the video,
find-
first I'll set up what the video is actually about. Now, we've come to think that that the universe is expanding at an accelerating rate because what we see is the only evidence we've got for things going far, how fast things are going, is the redshift. Now, redshift is like the Doppler effect. Like you hear a train coming towards you, goes, so the frequency actually lowers as it goes past and it's going away from you. So redshift means that the more the redshift is, the lower the sort of sound. It's things are going faster, the more it's redshifted, and we can place things fairly well because we use the parallax because think about the sun. The sun's a million kilometers, sorry, 100 million kilometers from the Earth's 100 million kilometers from the sun. So each 6 months, it's like on the other side of the sun, so it's 200 million kilometers separated. So we can basically triangulate the way, you know, we can triangulate and look at the dish. We can work out how far things are from us. So just take that for a given.
Okay.
So what we've come to understand is that the further things are away from us, the faster they seem to be receding from us because the more the redshift is. And now that's what's come to they've come to think there's something called a dark energy, which is pushing things apart. And I question that because it really doesn't make sense to me. Now, a friend of mine, Stephen, he a friend from high school, who was, but he was religious all along. But back in school, it never came up. That's how much religion just isn't really a thing here in Australia. It didn't come up. But anyway, he was religious, and I met up with him a few years ago, and again, I met up with him again a few years ago, and he presented the fact that the universe was thought to be accelerating in its expansion, that things were pushed, the dark energy was pushing things apart. And I doubted that. But so he put me on the path of actually, by the way, he became a science teacher from high school. So he made me, this is going back about, I think 3 or 4 years ago. And so those 3 or 4 years, I've been doing a hell of a lot of research. And what was it, July the 1st, 2021 at 2:40 in the morning, I actually finally asked myself the right question. I asked, if we are seeing redshift, which is exaggerated, what can be the mechanism that does that? And that's when I had my aha moment. I thought, that's interesting. Yeah. So anyway, that's where we are, where I started thinking along these lines. Have you got the video yet, Esther?
Yes, I do. Yes,
well,
I got the video. That's it right there. And
Uh-huh.
I've put the link in the chat, and already look out for number one has subscribed. So that's
Thank you.
fantastic. That's the whole idea. Okay, so if you need me to stop at any time, please tell me to
Yeah,
stop,
I'll
and
say
I
stop.
will. Okay, here we go.
My hypothesis: the expansion of the universe is not accelerating, although we observe a redshift which seems to be proportional to the distance an object is from us.
Okay, stop now.
At the singularity.
Okay, now that first one, it's basically stating my position there. It's stating that, as I say, the redshift seems to be more redshift the further things are from us. So therefore, that would tell us that the things further from us are going faster, and I question that because I'll keep playing. Play the video again.
Okay.
I'll get to it.
So, okay. Do you want me to take it back, start again, or
No, that's fine. From here, it's fine.
from here? Okay.
Everything that is, was, or will be was contained in that point, including space. Space must be finite, was contained in the point. Nothing infinite
Okay,
can be
stop now.
contained in one point. At the
Okay, when I say space is finite, what I mean by that is that inside anything which is not finite, inside anything which is finite, say anything of a distance or whatever, you can't have anything that is infinite because it doesn't work. And that's also where I come to my two assumptions here. That space itself is, we've all heard the expression the fabric of space-time. Now, what that says is that space itself is not just an absence of things. Space itself is a real thing. And I also come to that conclusion because from the Big Bang, everything was contained within a minuscule point. Now, we know that energy is just another form of matter because the E equals mc squared and all that. So energy has no size. So everything could be contained within a really minuscule point, and within a millionth of a billionth of a whatever, a very small amount of time, the Big Bang, everything inflated to within we know it's at least, rounding here, at least 14 billion light years distance. But that's only because the universe is 14 billion years old, and I know I'm wrong.
Sorry,
but
It's
that's okay.
I'm trying to get the link so I can share your stream out. I wasn't trying to be annoying.
No worries.
Sorry.
No worries. Let's assume the universe is 100 billion light years distance. We can't see how far things are because the light hasn't had the time to come back to us from there. But now, if space was actually able space itself expanded. That's why everything was able to expand so fast or inflate so fast. Was that space itself was doing the inflating? Not the speed of light is finite in going through space, as in nothing go past the speed of light. But space itself expanded far greater than the speed of light because I don't think space is constrained by the speed of light. So within a fraction of a second, space itself expanded to at least 14 billion light years, and so that tells me that space itself has to be a reality. It's not just nothing. It is something, and now everything within.
So can something live outside of space and time? Can something exist
hang on a sec.
outside of space and?
There is no outside of space and time. At the singularity, at this point, that's all there was. There was no outside of it because there was no outside. Outside did not exist.
It
was outside. Everything that is or was that little point. And as the universe expanded, everything that is or was is the universe itself, and outside of that just does not exist. That's my theory anyway.
Okay.
Now, as the we've got the inflation where everything inflated to at least 14 billion light years, but it's also it's settled down to speeds that we can sort of comprehend, but things are still going outwards. So space itself is still expanding, and the how do I put this? I've gone beyond a step here. Everything that is or was contained in that point of singularity. So as it expanded, it stayed relatively the same sort of proportion as distance. So, like, let's say the universe was a foot across, something that was halfway from the center of it would still be halfway from the center of it as it got to 14 billion light years across. So the matter and the energy and whatever was relative to was positioned relative to space itself. It was proportional. Now, as how do we go? As it's settled down to normal speeds as such, the universe itself is still expanding. So the space within the universe itself is still expanding slightly. It's getting slightly larger. Now, keep going with the video.
Okay. So I think there's a question by Beej. Beej asked a question. Isn't space moving faster than the speed of light? Because it is moving in every direction, which makes it look like FTL. 2 points, speeding away from each other.
Could you explain that more, Beej? I'm not really sure I follow you.
Okay, so Beej, we'll wait for you to let us know what exactly you're talking about, and I would carry on with the video.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And Villa, thanks for sharing. We've got people coming in because did you share that, Villa?
Yeah, I shared your stream.
That was nice.
In a
Thank
few.
you.
Well, there's some that I've been starting to get into a few friends that are in the flat Earth community, like flat Earth frauditors, First Amendment auditor people, and all that sort of stuff. So I figured they'd really like this side of the topic, talking about space and time and everything, and they're also going to be far more learned on it than me. So yeah.
I don't think so.
I don't know anything about it, so you know.
I don't believe this video is 3 minutes long. I mean, this is such a huge topic to fit into a 3-minute video. I don't know how you've done it, Mark, but you know, let's proceed.
And just quickly before you
at the Big Bang
and pause, what I think they meant was would it be technically quicker than the speed of light? Because the starting point is here and it's stretching here, but then it's also going that way. So it's almost like it's going at double speed because it's going like that. It's covering more distance in the time because it's going that way and that way. So it makes it seem like it's travelled longer distance in a shorter time because it's going choof instead of just going choof.
But speed is also relative to the observer. So time is how do I put it? Okay. Time slows down when you're observing something going faster than what it is. So you can only really observe something going at the speed of light. If you could observe that, then, but that's all you can really see. So that it's really, really hard to explain as such. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's understandable because it's also time's relative. Like, because when you're waiting for something really exciting to happen, it seems like half an hour is like a whole day. Because you're looking forward to something so much, it seems like time's going slower. Still happening, the same as ever. And then other things are like when you're sat on the train and you've got two trains passing each other like that, time feels different because you feel like you've passed that train a lot slower than you actually are because of the movements of like, was it quicker?
Yeah, I see what you mean, yeah. Yeah, it's but I mean, really, we can't really observe things going at the speeds we are because it just does not affect time as much as what, like, let's say you're going at half the speed of light, that then you'd be able to observe a difference in time as to what you are observing. So something that's going a lot faster than you will actually be aging a lot slower than you. So if you go out and back really fast at the speed of light, you will have aged nothing at all. But when you get back there, it might have aged 1,000 years, and what you just don't know. But so the law of relativity it's really, really complex.
Yeah, that's why I don't think we will ever really achieve this whole being able to travel to different universes unless we discover like appropriate cryostasis or something, because the amount of time it would take for us to travel from this galaxy to another galaxy, we'd die.
No, for
Unless
sure.
we have spaceships that can transverse time and space.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or cryostasis, where we can be put cryogenically asleep and we'd be able to like make it to another planet and not be like decrepit, old, or dead, depending on how far away. You know.
Come on, I'm already decrepit, old, and dead, almost dead.
Oh, sort of.
We're getting there. I'm getting
Time
there.
is relative.
So
Yeah,
there's two comments I was going to highlight. The first one was from Lookout for Number One. He said, I don't think space is expanding, but rather the stuff is separating from each other faster than light. And Beach has further sent she sent another comment that 2 points speeding away from each other would look like they're going faster away. The gap between them widens in ways that seem FTL. What does FTL stand for?
I have no idea.
I'm not sure, but she says
FTL
later
mean?
on. Yeah,
Faster than light.
It.
Faster than
Oh.
light.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I think she mean I got it right in my explanation because she said later. Yeah, she has it right. So I don't know.
And James.
Hopefully that's what she meant.
James, thank you. James McNeil.
Thank you. Legend. James helps me with everything, man. I would seriously be fucked without him. Yeah.
Oh. So watching a lot of Christians on YouTube doing debates didn't do them any favors. Absolutely right. I love watching Christians debate. It's the highlight of my day. Watching them bicker and can't agree on doctrines. Oh, you've got it right. No, I've got it right. Oh, it's my version is correct, and all of this and that. I love watching that.
And sermons, things like that. Just
gosh.
I've never, no, not never, for a very, very, very long time, I haven't seen a preacher not be hateful. When I was a kid, like my daughter's age, 6, I went to a convent school, and the people there taught me God loves you no matter what you do. No matter what you do. If you fuck up, he made you to fuck up. That was the point. The point is what you do after you make the mistake. Do you try to do better? Do you try to be better? Do you go and suck up your pride and apologize for what you did wrong and make sure you don't do it again? And I was like, cool, I can get behind that. That makes sense to me. And then I went to a different school that was just a private Catholic school. God hates you. You have to prove you're worthy of God's love. Like, God, you have to prove that you are worth a shit. You're worth a nanosecond of God's time by being the most devout, purest, blah, blah, blah Christian. If not, what you're going to hell. And that, yeah. After that, I stopped believing in God because I was like, how can two people that say they worship the same goddamn God have two totally different ideas of what God wants? And it made me not have faith in anyone talking about what God wants because why should I believe they're telling the truth if no one can get their story straight?
That's true. They can't all be
Okay.
right, but they can all be wrong.
Hey, absolutely. Should we carry on with this video? It's
Yes,
only a
please.
short
Yes, please.
video. Okay, great. There we go.
Space itself inflated the speed of space, which is far greater than the speed of light. Space took everything with it in its outward journey. This makes me imagine space as a matrix of points. There's probably almost uniform density, to which energy seems to be fixed to the position in the matrix. What I
Okay,
mean
stop
by
there.
that is that if a bit of
Okay, that's what I was explaining about things being like parts of energy being halfway from the center of the universe at whatever like distance it is, however big the universe is. But also, what I mean by space expanding is that if there was nothing, if the universe, sorry, the singularity was all that there was, the outside it didn't exist, then that's the universe is the singularity have expanded a lot, and outside of that there isn't anything else. It just doesn't exist. So as the universe expands, the space within it is stretching. We've all heard the expression the stretching of space-time. I believe we all would have. That's basically what that boils down to, is that space itself is stretching. I've heard Neil deGrasse Tyson actually say that space itself is stretching, but he can't prove it. That would be where my theory actually, what it relies upon. Yeah, keep going.
Okay. Hey, look out for number one. Hello.
Hello there.
Okay, let me get rid of the comments so people can see the video. Here we go.
energy is halfway from the center of the universe at one point, as space expands, it will remain halfway from the center of the universe no matter what size the universe expands to. Sure, energy is free to move through space in regular motion. I'm thinking about the position relative to the expanding matrix. After the initial inflation happened, expansion settled down to speeds we can comprehend, but the universe was still expanding. That means that space itself was still stretching to fill the volume created by the universe expanding. The dots in the dot matrix being ever so slightly further apart. Think about the properties of light. Well, a few of the properties. Light is not attracted to light. You can have two parallel beams of light going off forever and ever and ever. They will not attract each other because light is massless and light is attracted to mass, but it's not attracted to something that's not mass.
Okay, stop here.
There's no mass.
Okay, now we're getting onto the properties of light. Now, as I say, light itself can go in two parallel beams forever and ever and ever, and will never be attracted to itself because light is attracted to mass. It conforms to the curvature of space-time, as in around massive objects, like for instance, when they observe the black hole, they were seen around it like how was it explained? The light from things behind it was actually curving around it and coming back towards it. So you could see things, you could see the light bending, but light itself will never attract light. It's got no mass, so it can't attract light. And that's the whole thing about it, is that because the little photons of light can't attract each other, no, keep going with the video. It'll explain it more.
Okay, Randolph says the video is a bit low. I think it is. The volume is at the highest. Yeah, it is at the highest. So if you could, I'm sure you can adjust the volume later on, Mark.
I would like to, but I actually
Never
did
mind.
it just using the computer on the computer microphone rather than the headset. So unfortunately, it will be a little bit low. Not much I can do about that.
And also, it's a good job you've got the subtitles going, so that's great. Absolutely great.
I did go through them. They made a couple of little errors there, but that's fine.
Okay.
Does conform to the curvature of space-time. This is demonstrated by the length of light around a massive object. Light is attracted to mass. Now, light is a string of photons, which are points of energy, which they'd be positioned in the matrix, but also subjected to the motional expansion of the matrix. So, if space stretched, the light beam would stretch. As
Okay, you
space
can stop that
stretches,
now.
the wavelength of the light traveling through the space would
Just one
stretch as
second.
well. The distance traveled by the light.
Okay, now this is where I was describing the Doppler effect with sound. As the train's coming towards you, the frequency is higher, so and it goes past, it goes down because the frequency becomes lower. Because it's the same with the light. As the space stretches, because light itself is not attracted to the individual photons aren't attracted to each other. So and because they're also part of the matrix as such, as space expands, the wave of light will get slightly longer. So the wavelength of light will get slightly longer, and that means that as the wavelength gets a little bit longer, we see more redshift. And if space is expanding, then things coming from far away have been traveling through expanding space a lot longer, so that they've actually had time to expand more. So we see more redshift from things that are further distant. So further distant. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
So the things that are more distant will show us a higher redshift, which means that they will seem to be going faster than what they actually are. So I've seen Dr. Lawrence Krauss. He where did I have it? There. Oh geez. This you.
Okay. Let me
You
hang on.
really can't see that.
Yeah. No. Do it again, Mark. I'm going to make you just 1 second. How do you make Mark bigger? That's it, right? That's it.
Okay. Can you freeze that for a second?
Yeah. That's it.
Can you freeze that?
No, that's not possible on the StreamYards.
Okay.
But we can see it. We can see it, Mark.
No, he wanted you to pause the image.
Oh no,
yeah,
I
pause
can't.
the image. Okay. Well, if I do it like this, sorry,
Other way around.
like this.
The other way around. That's it.
It says it's showing you the observer. The speed. Look at the bottom left one there. The observer, which is the funny little dot there, sees everything going. It's showing the speed of things at the distance. So the further away we go, the more speed we observe. Now, I'm sorry, I'm getting tired of holding that. That would be explained by by my theory about what we're observing with the redshift being the fact that it's gone through stretching space for a lot longer. Now that if that was true, see that comes into the fact that the hypothesis that space itself is still stretching, which means it's stretching the beam of light as it's traveling through it, because light from distant objects has been traveling through space for a lot longer, and it's been able to be stretched for a lot longer. You can play the video again.
Okay.
Determines how long the light has been travelling through stretching space, which determines how much the light is stretched. As light travels through stretching space, it stretches all the time it's travelling. This would mean the light showing off twice as distant as another has had twice the time to stretch. The stretching of light is demonstrated by redshift. I've seen a publication by Dr. Lawrence Krauss that showed redshift as being roughly proportional to the distance an object is away from the observer. It was proposed that the sun would be seen in practically any direction from any point, making every point seem to be the centre of the universe. If my hypothesis is right, it would explain that very neatly. I propose that dark energy, which is thought to be responsible for pushing things apart, is a myth. It doesn't exist. I propose that universal expansion is not accelerating at all. I proposed that a cyclical universe is not only possible but quite probable. I think the math done which shows the universe heading towards infinite size and heat death was faulty and did not take into account my hypothesis. Maybe the universe is eternal and there is no need for a god or gods, no need for the creation of matter from nothing. Sorry, Dr. Gales. I welcome discussion on this matter and would love to be shown where I am wrong, if I'm wrong.
Okay,
Oh, I
stop
love
the video
that.
now. So that's basically the whole thing.
Oh, hang on.
In-
She's
in-
knocked herself out. Let's give her a second to get back in, Beth.
Sure.
I do that all the time. It's so funny. Annoying, but funny.
I've never actually done a live stream myself, so I've got no idea the intricacies about it.
There we go.
Sorry, guys. I'm not sure what happened. Just kicked me out.
It's all right. I do it all the time.
I love that you've put that video out, and you've also welcomed people to if they've got questions and would like to, or if you've said anything wrong and they would like to
sure.
correct you. I love that. This is about having conversations. This is about, you're not just putting stuff out there and saying this is it. And
No, of course.
Or
Well, the thing is,
don't comment unless you agree with me.
no.
No, the thing is, if I'm wrong, I'd love for someone to show me that I'm wrong because I'm now learning something. If I'd love to be shown the right thing. If there is,
I have the exact same energy, so I completely get you with that.
channel takeover.
No, but that was good. Although I will be honest, I will be very honest. Most of that was just my head. I was like, okay, yes, I get you. Why don't they teach things like this in Sunday school?
Because it would be anti-God.
And could that be
See-
a reason why people are leaving Christianity? Because they realize there's a lot more to learn. There's a lot more to discover.
Oh, I definitely have my own theory on that. I want to hear.
Oh, go on, tell us.
So, I think as we've gotten more and more, well, as society's gotten on, originally, if you didn't believe in God, if you didn't go to church, if you weren't a member of church or a congregation, excommunication was a death sentence. Quite literally, Christians wouldn't sell to you anymore. People wouldn't hire you. They wouldn't go to you. Nothing. And in some places, they would kill you because got to kill them fucking devil worshippers. And now we don't have that anymore. That, well, for the most part, there is still some alienation, but it's not death. So now people don't have to be scared of not being Christian for the most part. And
Well, the funny thing is, so keep going. I thought you ended there.
And now there's also all the information out there. The world is huge. Most people would never meet a person that was not a Christian. Everyone in the village would go to the same bloody church. You would know everyone. Maybe there were like, if you're in a big city, there's a few, but you knew everyone in your own little bubble, right? Now people are meeting other people. They're meeting people of other religions. They're talking with them. They're even meeting, God forbid, atheists and seeing that they're not devils or demons. They're just normal people. I went to Catholic schools and half the time I didn't know who actually was a Catholic or not because it was a private school and private schools are Catholic. That's it. You didn't have to be religious. You just had to go do the Catholic stuff while you were there. That was all. And with all this happening, with YouTube and the internet and research, and now history's not being as easily suppressed, we're hearing about all the bullshit of Christians. Those crazy Christian cults are being blasted, and it's either, well, why our church say something about it, or why are you keeping quiet? And people are seeing, like I did in my experience, how extreme on different sides people can be within Christianity, and how can they all be right if they're all from the same fucking Bible, the same thing? All these things together are making people leave Christianity because they're seeing how bad it is. Things aren't getting swept under the rug anymore. You don't have to be scared to not be Christian. You can live still, have a job, have a healthy, happy life, and leave the church, because there's not that worry of, I'm going to get run out of town. No one's going to let me in their shops. I'm not going to be able to get a job, buy food. None of it. So that's not a worry anymore.
Villa, the last time you were here, there was something you said that resonated with me. You are pagan, right?
Yeah.
You're not Christian, but you're pagan, and you said that in the pagan belief system that there are things that you disagree with.
Yeah.
There are things that you don't necessarily think are right, and you're happy to point those out.
Yeah.
You'd
completely.
find that most of these Christians, they know that there are things are wrong in the religion. They know that this is, it's absurd. But instead of admitting that this is wrong and, I put my hand up, I don't understand why. No, they would rather give excuses to the point of being, they make themselves so inhumane by doing so. They lack empathy. When you're saying, how can your God be so, your God is so cruel and so evil? Instead of pointing out that indeed he was a monster, he is a monster, no, they would rather give excuses and tell you that their God does not live by any laws at all, and
Yeah, I don't personally understand that mentality. And like I said that paganism, not just historically talking about centuries ago, I mean with neo-paganism, Victorian revival onward, right? Even from that, there's been a lot of messed up stuff happening, a lot of scams happening. There have been cults, there have been deaths and killings, things like that. Then there was rampant homophobia and racism, and that's something that not a lot of pagans even know about, let alone like to admit, because there is always that touting of paganism's so LGBT friendly. Now it is, yes, but not for everyone. There are still people that are like, well, no, the world is made up of masculine and feminine energy, and how can two men have a balance? And then it's like, oh, well, one's the top and one's the bottom, so there's no, that's not okay either. That's bullshit too. But I'm like, it's okay that even paganism had a bad past. What matters is we've moved on from it already. And we're like, yeah, look, we've had a bad past, but we fixed it. And that we did it as a religion, so why can't the other people as a religion fix it and say, yikes, guys, that was bad back in the time when it was more taboo to be gay. Even we were like that. Now we know it's wrong. We've moved on. We've moved with the times. That's okay. Let's not whitewash our history as well and then pretend we're better than everyone else for it. Because that's exactly what everyone else did. Let's not pretend. It's okay. Just move on from it. Now we have learned. But these other ones won't do it, and they don't like to admit they've done wrong. It's like it's not always the people that are did it as well that are covering up for it. It's like, you weren't even the one involved in it. Why are you covering up for them? It's okay. Say they're a dickhead and that you don't want to be like the dickhead. You want to be better than the dickhead, and let's move on. But they can't do it. They refuse to do it.
Esther, I've got to go. I've really got to go because I've got to
Mark,
start work.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
That's all right.
Once again, I'll put the link to your video in the chat, and people can subscribe. And we look forward to more videos from you and hopefully you get the volume up a little bit
Yeah,
more.
sure. If I could
Yeah.
just put a cap on what the video is about, it's all about the fact that the universe doesn't have to be a one-off thing. It can have been eternal. So there's no reason for there to be a god or gods. So that's half the reason why I actually started this, to actually prove that, well, not to prove, but to show that it's possible for there not to be a god. And I think I've shown that. If I'm right, there's no guarantee I'm right, of course.
Thank you.
Anyway,
Thanks
that's all I've got to
for-
say. So anyway, as I say, I've got to be off and got to go do some work and earn some money, of course. So it has been a pleasure, and I'll bid you adieu then.
It was
I
nice
will-
meeting you. Oh,
I
sorry.
will give you my
That's hard.
input about your video on your channel, which that's what it required, that level of respect. Okay, but I will watch it. I differ a little bit, but I'm on the same train, but I'm going at different speed, if you get what I mean. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So it differs a little bit. Right.
Sure.
I'm not saying you're wrong, because I'm a layman in that field. Right. But I'm using my own logic, and it doesn't fit 100%. Right. I know what you're saying, but it doesn't fit. It doesn't click. Right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm missing.
Sure.
Yeah. I might be talking
Anyway.
out of my rear, but hey.
No, well, anyway, I look forward to it, but as I say, I've got to go now. So I'll see you all later then.
Thanks,
All right,
Mark.
have a lovely rest of your day, darling.
Will do. Bye.
Bye bye. Look at this comment by Beach. Says a Christian. A comment from a Christian: "You are a disgrace to humanity." I said I am 100% for humanity. Then she got told that they care about her and sent her love, and they're praying for her.
I personally find saying
That's-
to someone, "I'll pray for you," very insulting.
It is.
Like I've said before, when there's been a problem going on, I'll keep you in my mind. Like things like that. Or for me, I've explained, I light a candle for things, but that's because it's a visual prompt. So I light the candle specifically for a person, so when I see it, I think of them and remember them and their problem and to reach out or things like that. So it's not like me going, oh, I'm going to pray to a God that you don't even believe in about your problem. I will say, what can I do to help you? Can I help you with money? I don't know if I have a lot. Can I raise money for you? What can I do? Do you need someone to talk to? Do you need someone to shout at, scream at? Do you want me to go over there and just sit with you? So like you're not alone and you don't even have to acknowledge I exist. I'll just sit there. That's it. What can I do? Not just, I'll pray for you. That's so pious to me. That's so bullshit. You're not actually doing anything for them. All you're doing is making a show that, look, I'm a good person. I'm a great person. All the people that actually believe that helps. And then they take credit when whoever's going through what they've gone through has gotten out the other end. See, I knew Jesus would help you. Bitch, I helped me. Oh.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dean says there is no hate like Christian love.
Oh, God, yes.
Well said. Well said. Well said. So, guys, the topic of the room says, why are people leaving Christianity? You know, what sort of things come to mind when you think about people walking away? While you're speaking, I've got a video somewhere. I will find it and show you this video. People are starting to wake up. People are starting to realize that it's all just made up. And the thing is, in some cases, when people realize that it's all a pack of lies, it's the anger. It's that vexation. It's that, what do you then do when you get angry? What do you do when you realize, oh my goodness, I've been lied to by these people? That's what concerns me. So
Normally,
yeah.
that's what a few atheist YouTubers that I watch call like the angry atheist phase. That's the phase where people are normally going right out on YouTube and screaming at Christians and getting into big debates with other Christians that aren't debates, they're just shouting at you. And it's like, it's okay to be angry. You've been lied to for years. You may well have been abused. You're just finding out that everything you thought, based your life on, put years of energy into. And that's just the lighter end of it. Let's face it, there's a lot of psychological trauma that could have happened. You just find out that everything you ever thought was a lie. Of course, you're going to be angry, but the best thing you can do is just step back from anything to do with religion and heal before you get into screaming matches with these people. Because one, it's not good. You're never going to actually get better shouting at them. All you're doing is shouting at other people about the things you want to shout at to the people that hurt you. Two is you're not going to do the atheist side any favours, because then you're going to be the stereotypical angry atheist that all they have is anger and hate and like bullshit claims. They're not really, but and it's coming from emotion, not logic or anything. And yeah, if you want to do that, but take the time to breathe and calm down and come at it from a nice level-headed place, because that way in debates they're going to be less likely to like try and trip you up or fuck with you, because they don't actually care about having an honest debate. They just care about making you look like a fool. So if you go in there in that angry atheist phase, they'll be able to do that really easy. But if you go in there after you calm down, leveled out, it's going to be harder for them to do it.
Okay, I found the video I'm looking for, and I'll show it now. Reason why I'm going to show this video is, imagine people in Africa, right? Communities, towns, and people have been made to believe in this the Christian God, Jesus. It's been passed on from generations. There are people who didn't know anything at all about their past, their history. They got no idea. They were born into Christianity. They were born into the religion. And as they grow older, they realize, come on, Christianity isn't all that there is in the world. There's other things. You start to realize, so why were we only taught about this? Why were we? And you find that in some cases, people start to wake up. That's the language I'm going to use. They start to wake up. And it's the anger, right? So let me show this video.
I cannot imagine that happening, especially in a country like Africa, where you find out that you've been lied to for years, but not only just that, by your oppressors. A religion that was forced on your ancestors by the people that came over and fucked your entire country up, your ancestors up. The anger that you must feel over something like that, being stripped of your entire cultural identity, like, fuck, mate. Sorry, I'm realizing I'm swearing a lot on your channel.
No. Listen, here you can swear. I'm not. I don't mind that at all. Okay,
no, I just realized I swore without checking, so I'm like, oh god.
No, it's okay. It's okay. No, I don't mind that. Okay, so this is the video. Hold a second.
Children to catch crocodiles, and they later come and wrote a book and sell it to us and told us that their brother died for us. No white man died.
1 second, guys. I'm trying to see, how do I make this? How do I?
A black man. They are building their. They told us that the world is about to end.
Can you guys see the video?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you see it? I'm trying to remove this.
The chat.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
No,
trying
the
to
comments.
Yes. Just 1 second. How do you do that?
Try
There
just
should,
double clicking the page, the screen.
there should be a way to
Can you see the arrows?
listen.
Can you
What
close it?
arrows?
You
There are
see
two
the arrow?
videos. There are two
No,
videos.
the
So
one
that
on the
takes
right.
you.
Because if you make mistake,
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
that one
Sorry.
takes you to the second video, right?
who killed 48 million?
So this is when people get angry. This is when locals start to realize that, look, we've been deceived and enough is enough. This man actually got the Bible, he's ripped it apart, and you can see he's angry. He's had enough. And the other people, they're watching. People have been told that if you as much as drop the Bible on the floor on purpose, something bad will happen to you. If you drop, because it's the word of God, if you drop it on the floor, there's all this. And then here he comes right in the open. He's burning the Bible. And guess what's going to happen to him? Absolutely nothing. In fact, he'll be better off for it. So let's watch the video, even though I can't seem to work out how you wait just 1 second. Let me see. I still can't.
Who killed 48 million people in our land? Who used our newborn baby children to catch crocodiles? And they later come and wrote a book and sell it to us and told us that their brother died for us. No white man died for a black man. They are building their land. They told us that the world is about to end inside this book. And it will catch fire now. Okay, walk on now. I go upon them now, you go see that this is not God. We know the Almighty Creator. We know Chukwu Okike Abiyama. We know Chukwu Abiyama. This is it.
So what he's saying is, he's angry that why does the Christian God look nothing like them? Why have they been forced to get rid of their deities and their gods? How can you tell them that a white man, Jesus, because we were shown pictures of Jesus in Africa, and the Jesus we were shown, looks nothing like us at all, right? But then you tell people to get rid of theirs and take on yours, right?
Wait,
and
really?
Oh,
'Cause
absolutely.
I have heard of like the crucifixes, like the ones with the actual like person on the cross. Ones where you can get a crucifix of a white man, of a black man, of an Asian man, and in different countries, like in Asiatic countries, there's like an Asian Jesus hanging on the cross, and in Africa there's a black Jesus hanging on the cross. And like this is something that we got told.
Yeah.
I mean, I was told by the Reverend Father of the church I was in. He says he thinks that Jesus was a black Rastafarian. I'm like, that's not what we were taught in Africa. We were shown pictures of the Jesus that the whole world seemed to know. That's what we were told. That's the Jesus we were shown, that that's Jesus. So when we close our eyes to pray, we're praying to that man.
Wow.
Okay, guys, I'm not trying to make this a race thing at all, right? Not a race thing, but it's just it's think about the people that all their lives believed in something and wake up and realize this was a lie. Someone said in the chat that Jesus wasn't white. Sir Little says Jesus isn't white. There's people in Africa who will disagree with you. Black people would tell you that that's a lie. He is white. They're ready to fight with you. Because that's what
Jesus' mother was a woman of Galilee. Have you seen what they look like? There's a woman that draws accurate portrayals of people in the Bible, and she was saying historical things like in Galilee there was things like her fingers would have been permanently dyed by the dyes making fabric, so she'd have had like red or purple color fingers, and it would look like her nails are painted and all up her fingers are painted. She would have had like a nice like dark brown skin tone, not like black, not blick, but like a very dark brown. She would have had nose rings. She would have had lots of golden jewelry, beautiful, colourful clothes. She wasn't white, and Jesus wouldn't have been either coming from a woman like that. And we know that, not just based on that, but from where he is born as well. Like, he would, like, geologically speaking, no, as well. Like, it makes no sense.
I mean, look at Focus Your Audio says, everyone else's gods look like them, except black people's gods.
Yeah. I just think it was another layer of racial oppression by the sound of it. Worship white Jesus, because, you know, we can't let you think that God or the Son of God was the same color as you, because then you might get ideas that you're better than white people. That's all it sounds like to me.
My thing is this. It's not about race. It's not about ethnicity. It's about the lies. It's about the deceit. If you're not sure what Jesus looked like, you're not sure what color his skin is, why go and tell people this is Jesus, this is him, and you must accept this person? Why not say, we really don't know what he looks like? Why not say that? Unless, of course, there's an agenda. Unless, of course, there's things that you're trying to achieve by doing so. And this is one of the problems I have with Christianity. And I feel like people need to question things. If Jesus did not look anything like what we were told, then why the lies? Why the deceit? Why the, you know? Anyways, let me show this video. It's only a short video. It's not long at all.
I'm denouncing Christianity in my life, in the life of my family. They are putting fear that Bible will make you go crazy. Bible will make you this. Bible is a shithole manufactured by Chinese that are not Christian. I'm burning it down. Thunder, fire tune. They have vidom. Anywhere they go, I will defeat them, because they are the one who started burning our faith. Going from one vidom of I denounce. Who killed 48 million people in our land? Who used our newborn baby children to catch crocodiles? And they let.
So he's saying that these people who brought you this religion killed 48 million people in our land. I don't know what that's about. I'll have to find out what that's about. He said they were using their children to catch crocodiles, right? And they were made to give up their religion, to pick up the Christian religion. He's done. Yeah. He is done. I mean, and he's angry, as you can see.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I think he meant in the Bible where it says that, like, the children were given to the crocodiles and things like that.
No, he's talking about in the land in Africa. This is in Nigeria,
right
by
now?
The way. Yeah, when the colonial masters came over.
Oh,
that's
okay.
what he's on about. Yeah.
Come and wrote a book and sell it to us and told us that their brother died for us. No white man died for a black man. They are building their land. They told us that the world is about to end inside this book, and it will catch fire now.
Okay, let me show the next video.
Wait, because if you make mistake now, they will say, yeah, Jesus, yeah, Holy Ghost, fire, Holy Ghost,
they're making a mockery of Christianity.
Holy Ghost, fire, Holy Ghost, fire, Holy Ghost, fire, Holy Ghost, fire. I'm not there, Habia. And to me, to Buffer, to buy now, no Bugondi buy. And I will go now to Binan, or Hensuka, Binan, and Daiji, and then one hand.
Basically, what he's saying is, he's calling on the gods of their land, the ones that were there before Jesus was introduced to them. He's telling them, please, wherever you've gone, come back. We need you back. We're done with Jesus. And then people... Okay, let's carry on. The video is nearly done. So that's the Bible, right? It's written to shreds and burned.
You burn my faith, I burn your faith.
Ooh.
Not be so.
You burn my faith, I burn your faith.
If the Muslims are not hard people, Christianity would have messed them up. The same way that the white people impose this thing on them, if they come, they would like to impose it on you by fire, by force. You are starving people for 3 days here, that Jesus is going to kill them.
Oh, yeah, put that up yourself.
Wait, so
Okay, so that's it. That's the video done.
Yeah, Jesus.
So, Ellen, I found the video that I was on about. I've just dropped it in private chat.
Sorry.
That's the video of the woman that drew a more accurate depiction of what Mary of Nazareth looked like. I don't know why I said Galilee. I'm sorry, it was Nazareth.
The one in the chat.
Yeah, in private chat.
Okay, let me.
It is a little Facebook video.
Okay, it's just 1 second. Okay, it's loading now, right? Okay, just 1 second. Let me.
I found it quite a while ago.
Yeah,
but I found it very interesting.
Okay, I'll share my screen now. Share. Share screen. Look out for number 1. Sorry, we're just leaving you out of the conversation.
No. I'm watching. I'm learning.
Okay,
When you learn, you be quiet.
that's it. Okay, let's start the video. Okay, that's it. Can you hear this or no?
No. Has it got audio?
She would have had much darker skin, not just because of her beautiful. If this is what you think of when you're thinking of the mother of Jesus, you got it all wrong. Mary was a woman of Nazareth. She would have had much darker skin, not just because of her beautiful pigmentation, but because she spent all her days outside, not in her one-room house. She would have had her fingertips and toes dyed red with henna, and not a white dress, but one in the tribal patterns of her family. She wouldn't have worn a veil, except when she prayed and traveled, but wearing a hair wrap or net. And she would have had rings on her fingers and toes and bracelets and jewelry, even anklets that shimmered and jingled when she walked. And she would have had a nose ring. Not like that. That's better.
Oh,
That's
wow.
a nose ring. She would have been wise to know how to use all of the things that grew around her village, both for food and for medicine. And she would have handled all of her family finances, because the women of the house were the ones that traded and bartered and kept the family going. Mary, the mother of Jesus, was a nomad, a traveler.
Interesting.
Like, that's all stuff that I never would have known about. But yeah.
I would have taken
That's for number one.
I would have taken the jury out, right? Because I don't see male or female working with their hands with jewelry, right? Especially nomads, right? They are on the go. Okay, if they need to do something, they have to kill a cow, do some food,
Yeah, but
do
they
some
also,
dough.
you wear your wealth in those lifestyles. Travelers, gypsies, nomads, you don't leave your wealthy things behind. You have them on you because you don't want them to be stolen. That's why the idea of like chavs or Irish travelers or like gypsies, Romany gypsies, glistening and gleaming with all this jewelry on them. It's not because they're being tacky. It's not always because it's a show of wealth as a statement, but it's so they have their valuables on them, so they're not stolen. So they would wear jewelry, they would wear their wealth to show they have money, things like that, but also so they don't get stolen. You wouldn't leave these things at home. And jewelry is good for bartering. You can always take it off and pay for something if you've not got any money on you.
Well, if Jesus was born in a barn, they weren't rich. They weren't well off.
But that's not the reason they had to do it in a barn. They had the money in the story. There was just no rooms. There was nowhere for them to go.
Maybe.
But then that's just cruel to expect this young girl who's been violated. Well, I always use the word violated by this ghost. Young girl, right? I'm not sure. Consent, no consent. Did she give consent? Was she old enough to give consent? Think about, just for a minute, just stop and think about this young girl. She's had to go through the trouble of announcing that she has a baby that doesn't belong to her husband. In some places, that will get you killed.
Well, she
That's
was
right. That's
pregnant
rape.
Out of wedlock.
Start
Exactly.
by saying it's rape. Start
Yeah.
from there.
Rape, okay.
Okay, no, it is what it is. Okay, right. If she's my wife, that guy's got some problems, right? I'm talking
Exactly.
about now as a you look at it as a woman point of view. Oh, she got pregnant. Now, hold on. What about the husband? Is he gonna walk by and say, "Listen, yeah, don't worry about it. Just shit it out in 9 months"? No, you either give it away as looking as a husband, yeah, give it away because it's not my child, right? Or choose abortion, this, that, preferably give it away, okay? Because having a child that is not mine and raising it,
I don't think what the man feels is the biggest priority in that situation. Funny enough.
What do you mean?
Well, you just made the rape of a woman about what, and impregnation via rape about how the man feels.
No. It's my point of view. If I were the husband, I said.
Yeah,
right.
That's what he said.
That's what I'm saying.
He was looking at it from the position of
the husband.
husband.
The husband. Yeah, my wife is being raped. That's not cool. I would have killed the geezer. Right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's not cool, right? And why should it happen? Why should that have to happen in the first place? Right? Now some geezer mysteriously screw my wife, or not my wife. Well, I don't know, wife or no wife. What was she? Was she a virgin? What was she not? Right.
She was 13 and unmarried.
There's something you're saying. Look out for number one, which I feel like we need to highlight. The Bible does not talk about women's feelings. The impact of some of these things.
Of course.
When look at the Bible has the scripture that says if a young girl is raped, the rapist needs to pay the father 50 shekels of silver, and that lady has to marry her rapist. At what point is anybody in the Bible going to think that? How is she going to feel being married to your rapist? You've got to sleep with this man every single day of your life. You know, so look out for number one. You're talking about you as the man, your wife is being raped. I like that, because at what point are we going to think about these young girls?
No, even worse. Now, you said what you said about the 50 shekels. That's even worse, because I have to give my future wife away because somebody impregnated her. That's sad. Yeah.
The father gives 50 shekels away, not the future husband.
No.
Yeah, but it stays. No.
The husband has to give the silver to the father.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, but he keeps her because that's the payment.
Yeah, the rapist buys the woman and marries her.
Right. Yeah. Right. So the husband to be loses her.
That's if she's engaged, and again, I don't think anyone should give a shit about what the arranged marriage man feels.
I'm with you. No, you're not getting. I'm with you. What you're saying, right?
But
raping a girl is it's awful. I agree with you 110%. Right? I think you misunderstand what I'm saying. Yeah, I understand the point of view of the women. right? Her body
Yeah.
has been abused.
We're trying to
Her
bring
body,
it back to the point
her
of
bo-
view of the woman.
Indeed. Okay,
Yeah.
let's go. Let's go with that.
Because
I
from
can
the
go with
point
that.
of view of men on the issue has been talked about enough.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything
Yes.
historically has always been how a man feels about a woman being raped, how the man feels, and the woman should be lucky if the man stays with her after she's been raped, and the woman should get rid of that bastard's baby. No, it doesn't matter what the woman thinks.
But you know,
Abort it or I leave you. Things like that. It's always been the man's thoughts.
No, but
It's
you know
enough.
something. Villa, you know
I agree.
something.
I agree what you're saying.
But
I
then you
agree.
don't, because you just did it. That's the first thing you did, talking about
No.
the rape.
No.
But Villa,
You miss it.
Villa,
you
hang
didn't
on.
get it.
Villa, let me tell you, right? Women didn't have rights. Women
Correct.
didn't have.
Correct.
They couldn't say anything. They couldn't. Now, listening to Look Out for Number One say that makes me believe that if he was put in that position, he will fight for that woman.
Exactly.
It's not enough to just talk
You,
about
you,
his
my dear,
perspective.
misunderstood what I just said. Okay.
He would. So
I will kill the motherfucker.
These men ought to not just think about their feelings alone, but act for the women.
Yeah.
Also, you should not judge a book by its cover.
I
That's my
haven't.
opinion. Yes, you did. You just said to me that I think like the rest of the
I
men.
said what you've just said.
Okay.
Okay,
I think it was just. I think it
I
was just.
respect
Because I have been raped multiple times, and I'll tell you one thing as well. Every time a guy said shit to me like, "Oh, if I was there, I'd have killed that fucker," I'm like, "Oh, great," because that's what I want to hear. That you're a violent man that would love to hurt someone right after I just told you about a sexual assault. Now I need to worry about you too. Yay! Because that's not always what women want to hear. That you're violent. That you would actually murder someone. It's a sweet thought, men, and I get what you're going for. You're trying to be that like lovely, like I would never let anyone hurt you. I'd kill them before that happens. But not always what a woman wants to hear, because that's also showing that you have the inclination of violence within you.
Okay. Can I just point out here? Can I point out here? That's the reason why we have conversations. That's the reason why we share all our different perspectives, points of view. You know, maybe Look Out for Number One hasn't heard it from. You know, sometimes we say things and never think about the other person. We never think about how my words will impact on the people listening. So let's move on past this. Yeah, can we?
Oh yeah.
Because I don't.
So I wasn't trying to be a dick to you, and I don't think you're like one of like the bad men or anything. I'm just saying like I get where you're coming from, but also it's one of those things where it's like this is a thing, like men don't always do it deliberately or things like that, and it's a whole issue, and yeah, it's a whole thing. Like, but I know like you guys, if you're in here, you're not gonna be dickheads. So I know I can have the open, like I can show my annoyance and things like that, and it's not like I think you're a dick. I'm like, this is a thing. Nah. Sorry, I'm a very vocal bitch about things.
You know something. We talk about these men, right? Think about the God who gives the orders, though.
No.
Huh? Think about the God who gives. Most of these orders come from their God.
See, I don't. That's one thing that I don't believe, though. I do believe that the majority of everything is just men saying shit to get what they want. We know that anyway, because obviously not believing in Christian God, but if there is a God, there are too many contradictions in the Bible. There's too much bullshit. The fact that each bit of it is written by a different person. If God, the almighty and all amazing person, why would you not just let one person write it all down so it's consistent? I mean, he's God. He's theoretically created the entire world. He couldn't create a book to appear magically all by itself and be like, this is the word of my God. Magically, poof, one appears in every person's house. Poof, the ability to read in their brain. Magically, they can do it.
they could also not put the tree in the fucking place in the middle of the. You know what I mean? If we're gonna if we're gonna start that way, you know what I mean? The book actually is irrelevant. Yeah, the designer designed it in the wrong way in the first place. Period.
Oh god, yeah. Oh, I'm going to give you a test, but not let you know it's a test.
Exactly.
Look at this comment by Focus Your Audio. Says, no matter what year you're in, whether it's year 480 or 2022, if a teenage girl says she got pregnant with a ghost's baby, she'll be grounded until she's 21. Why was that ever believable? I'm not sure about being grounded. She was 21, but that question, why was this? Because, you know, Christianity, this is the whole foundation of Christianity. That this person called Jesus came in this woman and all of this magical story, and somehow we're supposed to believe this. You know, at what point do people say enough, just no?
But they were Jewish family anyway at the beginning, so it's not
Well,
about.
That's why the Romans did the thing
Jews
on
don't
him,
claim-
calling him King of the Jews.
Do they claim Jesus, the Jews? They might claim that because he was Jewish, wasn't he? He was Jewish, but then
yes, but I don't think they think he was a son of God.
Yeah, they don't think they believe that.
Same as Islam, they believe that Jesus was a prophet. They believe that he was a valuable teacher to the world, but they don't believe that he was one of the great 4 prophets of Allah. They believe he was just a random prophet. There are prophets, but they're not the 4 great prophets of Allah. And Muhammad, I believe, was meant to be the last one. But yeah, like Christianity is literally one of the only ones. And yeah, she was engaged to Joseph at that point, I think, like arranged marriage, and Joseph still agreed to marry her. I just think they were like Mary either did well. One of the leading theories that I read about, but this was like a long time ago, so it's probably not the leading theory anymore, I should say, was that Mary likely got raped by Roman soldiers that were in the area, because apparently around that era there were Roman soldiers in the area. And virgin back then also wasn't the term for was not the term for never had sex. It was the term for unbound. So they were unmarried. Of course, back then being unmarried was a nod to being a virgin, because you were saying that they're a virgin. They've not had sex yet because they've not been married, but it doesn't outright mean that they've not had sexual intercourse. It just meant unmarried. So there's that as well, like with word plays. There's always a lot of word plays in the Bible.
That's a valid point. And then instead of having shame, they can say, no, God made the baby.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get it now. Grounded she was 21.
Oh, you did get it.
Yeah, I get it now. When I say to my son, if you don't take care, you're going to be grounded. He hates it when I say that. You're going to be grounded. Oh my goodness. Whatever he's doing, he hates
my little girl hates timeout.
Oh God.
I rarely have to say stop or you're going timeout. But if I do, she literally starts like getting so it's like, no, I don't want to time out. You're like, bloody hell. Like the reaction is like insane. But that's because it's a very rare punishment. So when I say you're going to go in time out, if you carry on, she knows she's been really naughty, and she's like, oh shit, I'm sorry, Mom.
He's one of the greatest prophets in Islam. That's Jesus, right? I do believe he will come. He will come back at the end of time and bring the kingdom of God to earth. Is this the Muslims that believe this, or?
No, Muslims don't believe in Jesus.
That's Jesus allegedly coming a second time.
But
and
they
that will
believe
be the end of the show.
Was a prophet, right? It was one of the
prophets.
Yeah,
but he wasn't the greatest prophet. They don't believe he was the greatest prophet.
Hey,
he was just a random prophet.
Sorry, Villa. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay.
No, so Muhammad was meant to be the great last prophet of Allah, not Jesus is just someone that they acknowledge existed and is a like Muhammad was the great last prophet of Allah. Jesus was just someone that apparently was good at spreading something positive, and like he was a good like theologist or something. Like I don't know the proper words. Yeah.
It won't be so great if he's messing around with girls, little girls. That's not
No.
even fucking like, let's not get
And it's
there.
not godly neither, right?
Correct.
But I'm like, but these people claimed it for God to be a God of morality and moral. But when you look at the Bible, it is far from moral. And I think that that is something that we should be taking into consideration when we have this conversation, right? The idea that a young girl essentially has to marry her rapist according to biblical scripture is definitely far from moral.
It is.
Well, it's worse than that. Like, sorry.
Oh, Sir Little Wolf says he was a Muslim for 3 years. So, Sir Little Wolf, were you talking about Islam there? Because
I think so, but I've never heard that in all my studies of Islam and like
neither have
at
I.
the mosques or anything. So I don't know what sect
so
of Islam that was.
He is one of the greatest prophets in Islam. They do believe he will come back at the end of times and bring the kingdom of God to earth. Really? Oh wow, it's interesting.
That's nothing I've ever
I'm like,
heard
whether
of
it's for me, all Abrahamic religions are evil. All of them. What has religion really done for the human race and humanity as a whole, besides cause destruction, war, and really just I'm like, there's nothing as good that's come about it. When we look at even the history of Christianity, we see genocide, we see murder, we see women being burned on crosses, and called witches during the Salem witch trials because they stood up against patriarchy and misogynistic men. We see the oppressions of queer people. We see just so many different things. We see we see slavery, which those passages were used to justify chattel slavery here within America. So there's a lot that has been done, and they need to answer to it.
Sorry, this comment just had me in stitches. The makeup 63%. That's a lot of concealer.
Girl, I am screaming. Girl, I'm like, honey.
They're going to need a lot of MAC concealer to
I'm like,
conceal.
no, but no shade. MAC concealer will cover up all of your sins. And I say, so? and yes, I'm saying that. I'm saying that very facetiously because of the conversation. Okay, all right. But yes, it will cover up a lot. I had a MAC concealer. Unfortunately, I don't get to have them often because
of course
it's expensive.
Oh God. Yes.
But yes, they do cover quite well.
The other day, I heard Villa was talking about Juvia's Place, the makeup brand.
Yeah. I haven't done a bigger look into that. I need to. So just quickly, I just looked into it. It says here, Muslims do not worship Jesus, who is known as Isa in Arabic, nor do they consider him divine, but they do believe that he was a prophet or messenger of God, and he is called the Messiah in the Quran. However, by affirming Jesus as Messiah, they are asserting to his messianic message, not his mission as a heavenly Christ. Islam insists that neither Jesus nor Muhammad brought a new religion. Both sought to call people back to what might be called Abrahamic faith. This is precisely what we find emphasized in the book of James, Like Islam, the Book of James and the teachings of Jesus in the Quran emphasize doing the will of God as demonstration of one's faith. Since Muslims reject all of the Pauline affirmations about Jesus and thus the central claims of Orthodox Christianity, the gulf between Islam and Christianity on Jesus is a wide one.
But also,
So-
that's a great point, because Christianity, from my understanding, has been quite frankly brainwashed. I mean, the mistranslations within the Bible itself is quite fast. There's a lot of things that have been mistranslated and taken out of the Bible and even put into the Bible. So the Bible is just really at this point a book of nonsense.
Sorry, I misread Little Wolf. I thought they said that that is Muslims worship Jesus, and I was like, no, they don't. What? No, I misread. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so they don't worship Jesus.
And it's not a Christian source.
No, they don't.
It is a professor in religion
Islamic
and stuff.
studies.
Yeah.
But you know what I find with Christians often is when you mention that you happen to know someone, right? When you happen to know someone that is has actually studied theology and even knows the text back to front. And Miss Esther, you saw that even in the conversation that we had on Clubhouse, right? We need context here. We need all of these things here, as if most atheists didn't study the Bible and weren't a part of religions prior to being atheists. And some of them have even studied theology, like you, Miss Esther. So I find it very strange.
Hi,
Oh, well.
Slim. You're right,
Hi,
sweetheart.
Slim. Hello.
No, the thing about the 50 shekels and that's not even the worst of it. Like, there are texts in the Bibles setting out guidelines for rape.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, if a woman is raped in city walls and doesn't scream and is found to be being raped or claims rape, but no one heard her scream, then she is to be stoned to death. If it's outside the city walls, then it's a bit different. So basically, if a woman isn't able to scream, then she will be killed just for being raped. Because
so the Bible victim blames.
Yeah, basically. So if she's being gagged, things like that, she didn't scream, so obviously it wasn't rape. And now she's not only lied about being raped, now she's not only had sex outside of marriage, she has lied and claimed the man she slept with assaulted her. So she's going to be killed. She's going to be stoned to death for it.
I'm like, so let me get this straight. So essentially, what the Bible advocates for is not only does it victimize women who have been assaulted, but also, if she doesn't scream, but also it advocates for murder of those, because that's essentially what that is. You are killing an innocent woman who has been violated, and this is what goes into my second point. Purity culture and how toxic that is, and how basically controlling the sexualities of women is inherently rooted in patriarchy and misogyny. Right, and that is what the Bible essentially upholds. It holds up misogyny and patriarchy through women's sexualities, and even advocates for the deaths of those women. So the Bible is a very evil book.
I mean, this is something, I can't remember who I heard say it, but I heard it the other day, and it was, just think about it. If you can control how and when someone feels and does sex or masturbation, right? One of our most basic needs as a animal. Humans are animals. We're a mammal. We're still an
Yes.
animal. As much as we like to separate ourselves and give it all the airs and graces, no, we are still an animal. Food and fucking, right? They manage to, the Bible manages to
Girl.
control that.
F and F.
Yeah, but in
F and
the
F.
Bible, what you can eat, when you can eat, what you can eat
Food
on
and
what
fucking.
days. They control that. The other basic, sex. They try to tell you when you can have sex, when it is allowed, when it's not allowed. You can't, you can't masturbate, you can't do this, you can't do
And
that.
create laws to
Yeah.
to control the bodies and
But
sexualities of women.
Even
Right?
now they do it. Even now there's all of that shit. And people believe it and they abide by it. And can you imagine if you can control those two basic things that are, as mammals, we need to do, right? Unless you're asexual, then I'm sorry.
I'm like girl, this
Story,
ain't for you. We affirm you. Okay.
Yes, I'm not trying to shut you out, but it's a different.
But we're
it's a
talking
different
about
side
people
of the
who
coin.
are there's different. I'm like, we know that sexuality is a spectrum. We understand that.
But it's so bad because like then you can get them to do anything if you can control those two things. And then the other side of the coin, how it affects asexual people. Like a lot of people are asexual in Christianity, and then they wait till they're married because they're like, oh, I'm being a great Christian. I don't have these sexual temptations or things like that. And they think the minute they're married, God's going to flip that switch and it's going to be perfect. And then they find out, I don't like my partner touching me. I actually feel repulsed by it. What is wrong with me? But what is wrong with me? I did everything God told me to do. Why am I not?
Because you're asexual and you're not,
like
you don't like to be touched, but you weren't able to discover that because Christianity controlled that part of you for so many
they're
years.
Stuck married because they can't get a divorce. The Bible says that you have to fuck when your husband tells you to.
God hates divorce.
Yeah, it's awful. Like it is bad, and I feel so sorry for people that are in that situation because it is a whole new level of fucked up to me. Like you're literally repulsed by your partner touching you, things like that. You can't get a divorce, and you're expected to do it with them whenever the fuck they want. And
that's a whole other thing. I think that I'm like Christianity also has a history, and we know this to be true of coercion of women with women and their husbands, because even when I think of women who have been assaulted, or even not even just in a sexual manner, but physically, emotionally, and mentally, and financially, right? Because I'm like, there's different types of abuse, right? But when I think of Christianity, it often advocates for those women to stay in those marriages through the scriptures, and even will tell those women that God will bless you by staying in situations that harms you. And like, and in a lot of the situations, women have been killed. In domestic violence situations, we often see women being who are being financially abused, right? Because if we're talking about the Bible, right, we know that patriarchy exists in the Bible, which is why most Christians, right, not all, but a lot of Christians advocate for single motherhood. You know, the 1950s archetype of women staying at home and stuff like that. So women are not out there working. So their whole lives are around their children and basically what they offer to men. I've also seen a lot of men online, right? And they call themselves quote alpha males. And I'm bringing this up in this conversation because they spew the exact same talking points that women who have children are undesirable. But if they don't have children, right, then they're not worthy of all of these different things, and even will create laws to force women to have children, right? So so misogyny and patriarchy is an extension of Christianity, and I would even argue white supremacy at large.
I actually do think that as well. Like I was just saying with you earlier, so I don't know what your actual name is. I'm so sorry, Afro-humanist.
Esther.
Esther, thank you. Is it okay if I call you Esther?
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, me and Esther were saying earlier about in Africa, you're taught about how Jesus is white and everything, and we were watching that video, and I was saying that's almost like a new layer of like a racial thing, because it's like you can't let them think that Jesus could be black. You can't let them think that God might be black, because then they'll think that they're better than white people because their God looks like them, not the white people, and things like that. And it's like, can't have that. You can't have that. And I do see Christianity, especially when it's put towards non-white countries, as a bit of a fucked up thing, because white people came over, shoved that shit down your throat, massacred people, and then told you to worship this God. And now, centuries on, they're doing it, and they're forcing it on other people, and carrying on this trauma cycle, this generational curse. And it's sad, because it's like,
that's why I say that missionaries are just colonizers.
We don't need missionaries no more. And for me it's when you tell people that give up your deities, your Ogun, Orisha, all the deities that you have, because those are not real. Those will take you nowhere. But my Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. He would take you to heaven. And then turns out even your Jesus is all just made up. You know, and you've made people give up their cultures. You've made people give up what's dear to them. It might not mean anything, right? It's all just made up stuff. But this is what these people know. This is what they've identified with. And you've come with your own made up stuff and told them that this is, you know, ours is better than yours. Turns out we're all in the same boat after all. It's just
well, it's like bullshit that white people have done everywhere. Going to other countries. Oh, our way of life's better than yours. You should do it like we do. Oh, how sweet. We're mud hearts. We stopped doing that 500 years ago, but oh, you're so cute. Here, let us show you how you really should be living, because you're obviously too dumb to figure it out yourself, right? No, that is not it. That is not it. Like, and it's so annoying, and it's like, I don't understand why other white people find it so hard to say that. Historically, we were
because in order to acknowledge that, you also have to acknowledge the white supremacy and the horrible things that white people have done over the course of history.
I don't know why people are scared to do that. Saying that happened in our past does not mean that now I am evil like them. I am not.
Of course it doesn't. A lot of them are evil like them. And so what they do is project their insecurities out on other people, right? Which is really why we see these, when we talk about teaching real authentic world history and stuff, there's definitely something that we see often, right? Which is people getting afraid of the truth being told. That's why we have this issue right now with CRT, because let's be really honest, it has nothing to do with demonizing people. It's teaching real authentic history. But if real authentic history is taught, then white supremacy crumbles.
But like, I was taught that at school. That's the thing that I find so weird. Like at school, we didn't get taught much of American history, mind, but we got taught, we went over to America, and we were evil. We went around killing all the Native Americans. We went around giving them like plague blankets and guns that would backfire, things like that. Like, we literally tried to commit outright genocide on them because we didn't want them there, because they were a nuisance to us. And things like that, or the fact that there was conversions of them, things like that. I was taught that at school. and
But you,
I didn't see it as I was like 12, 13, and I didn't see that as I didn't feel guilt personally, like, oh my god, I did that. Why? I was like, that's awful. How the fuck could they do that? Like, how could that happen? How was that allowed? Why would they think to do that? You know, those normal sorts of questions you have. But it never once made me think, as a white person, I must be evil. Not once did I think that. And I thought,
And you
shit,
shouldn't.
I'm never going to be like
and you
that. I
shouldn't,
never
right?
do that. And
Because
if I went through that, I saw those things. I saw the fucking adaptations of it. I was taught that in history, and I've not come out hating my race. Why do I think
Shouldn't.
every other kid it would happen to as well? It's illogical.
it's not only illogical, but it shows how white supremacy is fragile, right? And how, in order to continue white supremacy, you have to basically hide the truth from people, right? Because these are the same people who often spew out, you can't change history, but you don't want to teach the truth of what actually happened
But they
throughout the
sure do
world.
change history. I mean, literally, whitewashing, funny enough, doesn't come from white people washing away the sins of the past. It comes from the fact that whitewashing happened to the marble statues and things like that. That we know historically from ancient Greece. They're not white statues. They are actually meant to be marbled in colour. And they're meant to be beautiful. They're not meant to be this white shade, but they got whitewashed.
I'm like, and I even, and when I,
sorry,
and speaking of colonialism, I often think of, and this is going to go into part of conversation, but also the effects of Christianity and white supremacy is conversion therapy camps and changing the gender identities and sexual orientation of young children, at least attempting to, at least, right? I'm like, and they quote unquote say that you cannot force so and so onto me, but I'm like, which is really just teaching that humans are humans regardless of how they show up in the world, and you can't treat people differently, right? But I'm like, and oftentimes when I hear about the LGBT community of how things are pushed onto people, when that actually is quite contrary to popular belief, a cis hetero Christian, Orthodox Christian archetype is forcing people into things, as we just talked about throughout history.
Well, forcing it on children. Let's talk about Disney movies.
Girl.
Every princess with a man. Oh, look, Cinderella, heteronormative couple kissing. Snow White, heteronormative couple kissing.
Oh.
Rapunzel, the modern one, heteronormative couple kissing. But a gay couple can't hold hands or even outright say, yes, we are a gay couple. It has to be
or I'm engaged.
It's got to be queer baiting, hasn't it? That little,
it's got to be queer baiting. People just can't be authentic, right? People just can't be, people just cannot be non-heterosexual or non-cisgender, right?
I genuinely believe gay people existing is shoving it down their throat because they should stay in the couple. And I'm like, well, let's do that with everything, right? Let's not have heteronormative couples.
But they won't do that, girl, because
if
they won't do that, girl.
If they attempt to do it, you know, there's going to be uproar. These people are they're going, oh, you're trying to indoctrinate our children. You're trying to, I mean, it's just.
Yeah, what is it? The next one will be not you're trying to turn our children gay or trans. It'll be you're trying to turn our children asexual. You're trying to stop our children wanting to have babies and they get rid of all the population. This is population control.
I mean, look at here
Girl,
in the UK.
all of the talking points.
Here in the UK, teaching sex education, and part of the curriculum, you teaching that being gay is okay, and you know there's no.
But let's be honest. I don't know about in the UK, but here in America, the sex education It's not that great to begin with. It really isn't that great, right? So I advocate oftentimes for like comprehensive sex education and an inclusive comprehensive sex education because
Oh,
not all
yes.
children are cis, not all children are heteronormative, not all children, as we just discussed, are asexual people, right? So these should be conversations that we're having with kids. In an age appropriate way, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm like, 'cause it's very strange to me when I hear, how do I discuss this with children, right? Because any other conversation, we break it down in a way that is appropriate for the age that they are currently at.
I mean,
Right?
yeah.
We basically make it very simple depending on the age that you're at.
It's like
Right?
my daughter
But
is 6.
we cannot do that same thing or that same concept
Yeah.
with teaching children about LGBTQ people or the LGBTQ history at large. It's very weird, and
I don't get
y'all are
it.
contradicting yourselves.
See, my little girl is 6, and our neighbour's little girl is 9. My neighbour's little girl knows that she is gay.
Oh.
She knows that she likes women,
Oh.
and that is perfectly
9 years
fine.
old.
She's
wow.
9, but she's already experienced homophobia.
Oh my goodness.
And that makes me sick. And they're only 9 years old, but I want to slap those girls that did it. And I cheered her up because one of the girls made a comment saying, like, you were staring at me while I was getting unchanged. And I'm like, just sent a message going like, tell her no, you weren't staring at her, she ain't that pretty. You know, like you're just saying that because you wish I was staring at you changed, but babe, you ain't that, you ain't it. Ain't no one gonna stare at you unchanged, girl. Sort yourself out. So cheered her up by doing all that to make her laugh. But that upsets me that that's happened at such a young age because people haven't had this conversation. They haven't said it's okay. Now, my little girl's 6 years old. When she was younger, 3, 4, some days she would say, I want to be a boy today. Okay, you're a boy today. Are you still X, or shall I call you? So, are you still XYZ, or shall I just call you X for short because it's a shorter version of her name but sounding more masculine? No, I still want to be my name. Okay, and I would respect that. And then another day, girl, another day, boy, randomly, and I didn't look into it at all as some deep thing. It's just her being a kid.
I mean,
But
look at the comments.
That.
Look at the comment from Doug. It says, "Why can't we let children? Why can't they be allowed to work these things out themselves?"
Yeah,
you know. And
I mean,
let's
work
create
it out herself.
Let's create an environment where they can work it out themselves.
Yeah,
they can.
It's important.
Look at
I'm like, but that's the thing. I'm like, y'all cannot say things like, I'm like, no, why can't children be allowed to work these things on themselves? And then they're coming to you, their caregivers are parents, and you're ostracizing them and telling them that who they are authentically and their identity is not okay, right? Because oftentimes, what y'all don't realize is y'all are your queer kids for school, and telling them that who they are, and that's the problem. And our identity is not okay.
Sorry, guys. Echo is from Dog. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, my little girl is
I've
6,
muted
right?
Dog.
And I've told her that I don't care who you love, boy or girl, whatever. I love you, right? That is all that matters. She knows that sometimes men love men, sometimes women love women. Sometimes someone is born in the body of a woman, but they're not meant to be. And they were meant to be a boy. And there's things that we can do to help them be who they're meant to be. And that's okay. We can do that, and we should do that and respect them. I've taught her to not just assume someone's a boy or a girl. Don't just say he or she unless you know they are a he or a she.
I'm like, yeah,
she gets confused
it's really
by
that
it.
simple, right? When we really think about it, it's really that simple. Just break it down in a way that is
Yeah.
age appropriate.
I mean, I'm not
Obviously,
told
I'm
her
not
how
going to
fucking
be
gay men
talking
have
about,
sex.
like,
That's not
obviously, we're not
necessary.
talking to 4-year-olds about different types of organs.
I mean, I did, to be fair. I thought she was
I
curious and
mean,
said,
yeah, but
I said, boys have a
you're
penis,
talking
girls
about it.
have
It's
a
not in a sexual
vagina.
way.
Oh, yeah,
We're
no, in a
talking in a way
factual
to
way.
educate them in case
Yeah.
something happens, so they
It
know
doesn't have to be
anatomically correct language.
sexual. Yeah, but that's part of sex education. Biology. We were taught biology as part of our sex education, and she has to know what a what is. And I don't use flowery terms. She's not got a flower. She's not got a hoo-hoo or a hoo-ha or a wah-wah or whatever. She's got a vulva and a vagina. She has a, well, I don't use like anus or things like that, you know. She knows about breasts, she knows about periods. She's recently asked about babies, and I had to explain to her the basics that, like, a baby comes from sex, and sex is something that two people do when they're the right age, and it's where they use their penis and vagina to make a baby. And I explained to her, like, with seeds, growing a plant, things like that. Well, not actually use a chicken egg as an example, but yeah, because I explained to her in
I'm like, but it's strange, right?
properly.
That y'all, hold on. It's strange that y'all say that, right? Because this is a part of the conversation about religion, right? Because religion teaches people that people of different gender identities and sexual orientations are not okay. That is innately what Christianity and religion teaches. So we're going to have a conversation about religion, right? We have to talk about all the things that religion teaches. Religion teaches that men are superior to women. Religion teaches that people who are different are worthy of being ostracized. It teaches children, right, to be all of these things. And it's very strange to me how y'all will go sit here and say that we should not be teaching, right, these things in schools. But let's be very honest, right? If we were in a world where everyone was equal, I'm like, and y'all actually taught your kids the right things, we wouldn't have to have these conversations. Right? I'm like, y'all don't want to because it makes you uncomfortable, right? The idea of your child being different makes you uncomfortable. And if that is the case, then you shouldn't be having children to begin with. If you're not okay with the fact that your child may not be cisgender, if you're not okay with the idea that your child may not be heterosexual, then that is the things that you need to talk to yourself about before you even think about having kids, because not every kid is cis heterosexual, and that should be okay with you.
Well, the thing I think is a lot. Sorry.
So I was going to say that look up for number one and Doug. We could get them in on the conversation as well. Villa, you say what you were going to say, and
then want to go comment.
Sorry, Doug. Let Villa speak, and then Doug, you can.
I want to go back to the Disney comments when they said Disney is gender normative, is sex, well, whatever normative, homonormative, whatever you said. That's basically false. There's plenty of hidden sexual LGBTQ stuff in.
It shouldn't be hidden. That's the thing.
And it's not always actual LGBTQ. It is generally queer baiting, which is where it's not outright said it's gay. It's one of those like, well, it might be queer, it might be gay, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and that's not good enough.
Right, and it's not good enough, right? I'm like, it should not. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with being gay. There's nothing wrong with being lesbian. There's nothing wrong with being different in general, right? So these are things that we should not be hiding.
Like a lot of parents, especially within the Christian sphere, are told that 1, being gay is a choice, and 2, that is taught or learnt behavior. So they view it as a parenting failure. What did I do wrong to make my kids gay? Where did I go wrong? My kids say,
I'm like,
did
see,
something, and no,
focus
you
on
didn't.
audio. The job of teachers is to educate, right? And I don't know about in the UK, but here in America, there are sectors of education, right, where they are allowed to add things to their curriculum. Right. So their job is to educate, right, in a age appropriate manner. That is what teachers are supposed to be doing. That is literally what they are paid to do, is to educate. So, right, I'm like, we have all different types of children. We have kids who are coming from parents who are same gender loving. One parent may be trans. I'm like, we have all different types of people out here. So, right, if we acknowledge that people come from all different types of families, and there are different types of children in the world, as well as people in general, then we should not be hiding these things, right? We have a whole history books dedicated to the accomplishments of those who are cisgender and heterosexual, and we teach them in school. We teach in here in America, I don't know about over there, about the works of Malcolm X. We teach about Rosa Parks and and Ruby Day and all of these people, right? We teach about all of these things, right? But for some reason we cannot teach, right, that people are different, and different is okay. I don't understand what the issue is. And specifically when we're talking about religion and the effects of religion, because these thought processes that things like heteronormativity, which is, if y'all don't know what that word is, it basically means that anything outside of heterosexual, the preferred sexual orientation, right? Which is why we see like Cinderella and a Prince in every single movie, right? But but all of the quote unquote queer, all of the gay representation is hidden. Why is it hidden if we don't have an issue? Why is it okay? What's the problem with people seeing two people being same gender loving on TV? Because the problem is that y'all sexualize queer identities, and it has nothing to do with, even when it has nothing to do with sex. Because just like everyone else has a life outside their bedroom, so does everyone else.
Can we get so much of it?
Can we get Lookout for number one and Dog in on the conversation?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Dog, Lookout for number one. Do you want to add to this?
Go on, Dog.
I agree with Michaela. It is a severe lack of education that allows this to happen, and obviously the religious will push these agendas that men on men, women on women, and whatever sex changes, they're all wrong. They're all an abomination against God, and they're not. These things were going on back then. That's why it's all in the Bible. It was all going on. We're a species, and the species evolved to be whatever it is, and as long as people are educated to the fact that this goes on, or children educated to the fact that this is what we are, then there should be no reason why people can't just live their lives and just see it as normal. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
A lot of it was all hidden away, but homosexuality back in the day, back when I was a lad, was a jailable offence all through religion.
I don't know personally, but someone I know actually had electroshock therapy. Like in England as well, there was conversion therapy where they were given electroshock therapy to shock the gay out of them. And I didn't even know that was a thing in England.
They literally try to pray the gay away or the trans away, because people don't even realize that sex orientation and gender identity are two completely separate things.
Well, these are things that are actually determined at birth. They can tell by fucking brain scans whether you are gay, straight, or trans. A male brain looks like A. a female brain looks like B. A male to
like, and what we see now in science is that trans specifications with trans people, right, is they have a brain essentially that's sexed differently than who they are anatomically.
That's what I'm saying. So a man's cis het male brain is here, a cis het female brain is here. A trans het brain is here. It looks more like a female's brain. Then there is a cis gay man's brain that looks here. So it doesn't look like a straight man's brain. Doesn't look quite like a straight woman's brain. Not quite like a trans male to female's brain. But it looks more similar to a female's brain than a male's brain. And that's where the attraction to the gender is, because it's more like a woman's brain.
I'm like, what? I'm like, even the things that I find interesting is pre-colonialization, right? These things weren't stigmatized. In fact, I'm like, Miss Ashley, you're from the continent, and I know this due to the colonialization. I don't know if you know this, but that happened in Africa. But I'm like, if they're not parts of the continent where there were LGBT deities that existed, and pre-colonialization and African spirituality.
I've heard of that. Yes, I've heard
right?
that.
Like,
These things were, you know, they were there. They had people who a woman would have several husbands, right? 2 men could be together. These things were in the communities. But then when they came with Christianity, this is how it should be: man, woman, and children, and that's it.
Right. And it happened in
Adam and Eve.
Esther, block that guy. Block that guy. That's spamming.
Okay.
Just like block like now. He's an asshole.
So there was also that in Viking era, and
He's
you can see at the beginning of the Viking Norse, well-known one, where we think of like the Vikings coming over and pillaging and shit. Back then, a woman could divorce a man could divorce a woman, a man and a woman, a man and a man could be together, a woman and woman could be together on one basis though, and that was you had to have a kid first, because once you contributed the next generation to the tribe, they didn't care what you did. It's like, cool, you had a baby, now go do what you want to do. That's it. That's all you had to do. Because they just wanted you to not let the village die out, basically.
And nowadays,
understandable. But then, hang on. But then, once Christians turned up and started converting them, you can see where that was acceptable. Carry it on a couple hundred years later, suddenly the Vikings are extremely misogynistic. Women don't have the same rights anymore. Women can't go out being shield maidens and fighting anymore. They couldn't do this, they couldn't do that. There's so many rules that the Christians put down on them. And you can see directly the effects that Christianity had on the society, where there was a very much equal rights society. It was quite LGBT affirming, you know, as long as you were doing your thing and contributing to the tribe. They didn't really care what you did, as long as it wasn't causing trouble for everyone. To the other side, when Christians arrive, and it's like yay, God, and no one gets to have any fun, or no one gets any rights. And it's like, you can see it documented. It's insane.
I've always had the problem with even while I was a Christian, I've always wondered how 2 men can be together, 2 women can be together, but your Bible says 1 man had 1,000 women. You know, I'm thinking, how can it be okay for Solomon to have 700 wives, 300 concubines, but it's not okay for 1 man, 1 woman to be together, or 1 woman? You know, I couldn't see it then. I couldn't.
But Christianity is never consistent. It never is. And I'm like, and the comments was made about why we're having a conversation about the LGBT community, as we're having a conversation about religion, because these things are linked. Right, because if we're having a conversation and we're acknowledging that pre-colonialization and multiple cultures around the world, the LGBTQ people were accepted, and the introduction of Christianity changed that, then Christianity is at the center of homophobia, transphobia,
and I think that's why people
and
are
patriarchy, and you cannot separate the two.
Yeah, and I do think that's why people are leaving. I really do, because now, like LGBTQ is coming out now again, and it is being accepted. And like before, there was no Christianity back then when it was okay. Then Christianity came and fucked it up. Now it's becoming okay again. Christianity's dwindling. Like, coincidence? I think not. There's so many people that are either allies or fall somewhere on the LGBTQ spectrum.
Yes.
And so now they're saying, well, we don't want this religion that says that we're evil, because I know I'm not evil. I know me pretty fucking well, actually, and I know I don't do evil shit. But I see Christians do awful
it's quite
things.
ironic that Christians say that about the queer community when Christians have done the most atrocious things over history in the name of their Jesus and God. Right? And colluding colonialization. I'm like, you have people who used to eat other human beings alive. There is a history of that. So it's just strange. And they lack self-awareness.
I think for someone like myself, right, conversations like this, I don't take them for granted, because when I was growing up as a Christian, there were conversations that we would never hear things like this. They're not taught in churches. They're not taught in schools. You know, you're not taught about the outside world, right? They put you in this bubble and expect you to stop there. So when people are having conversations like this, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yes, the title of the room might be something completely different, and then we head on to it. But you must understand that for some people, conversations like this are strange. Conversations are, oh, really? You know, and listen, I would rather we speak on these things. If we're not speaking on it, you know, a lot of us just haven't got a clue. We just, okay, we don't know, because our religion doesn't teach us. They don't teach these things in some schools. Sex education in some schools. How dare you? Sex education.
Well, wasn't it? Mango said the other day that in America, there are some states that the sex education isn't mandated to be medically accurate.
It's true.
They don't have to teach
that is accurate, which is why I said that sex education in America
is a liberal propaganda.
Girl,
is this a liberal propaganda channel? No, sweetheart. This is just people like spitballing ideas.
Right. But I'm like, but it's strange, right? Because this is a conversation about religion, right? It's a harmful, and one of the things that when we're having a conversation about atheism and religion and deconstructing, because this whole conversation is about deconstructing from Christianity, right? And many reasons why people leave the church is because of the hateful rhetoric and the hateful things that are within the Bible itself, right? And if we're going to have a conversation about the harmful things that religion has done, then the LGBTQ community is going to have to be a part of this conversation as well. Because homophobia, transphobia, colonialism, genocide, all of these different things, right, come from religion. And they make laws that affect people's lives, right? So we're gonna have an honest conversation about deconstructing from Christianity and what it looks like.
Guys,
right?
Michaela, sorry to cut you short, but let me highlight this comment. Don't dare to bring LGBT into Africa. This person says, don't dare try to bring LGBT. Ultra instinct, unfortunately, LGBTQ issues exist in Africa. They're there, right there, in there. They might not be, you may not see them, but they're there. I'm in communities of people. There are communities that come together. They have Facebook groups, they got Instagram groups, they got these people come together and unite together. So listen, you're just deceiving
But
yourself.
that also goes to show how in our community specifically, right? How widespread across the diaspora these things are, right? You tell us not to bring LGBTQ people in Africa as if they haven't already existed for thousands
it's like,
of years.
sweetie, bring them to Africa. They never left.
They never
As long
left.
as there's been Homo sapiens in Africa, there's been a dick up a butthole. There has been pussy being licked out. There's been all the beautiful gay things happening.
As an institution, not individuals. Institution. Is there an LGBTQ institution? Look up for number one.
I'm like, no. I must have been late to that meeting.
Oh,
right. I'm not aware of that institution. What institution are you referring to?
It's not a choice. It's who you are.
Right. It's exactly who you are. Right. And it is so strange. Right.
It's a perversion we won't accept. You don't have to.
I'm like, first of all, I'm like, but see, I want y'all to see that comment, right? Because this shows the harmful effects of Christianity and religion, which is why I brought it up to begin with. Because how much you want to bet that man is in fact a Christian or a Muslim or somewhere on one of the Abrahamic religions? How much do you want to bet?
No, but hang on, Michaela, I've met an atheist who he's totally against LGBTQ plus issues. He's still very it's all
like, but the difference is that as an atheist,
man,
you don't have
woman,
you don't have the difference is as an atheist, you don't have a holy book to hide behind being a bigot. That's the difference. So if you're an atheist, right, who's just a bigot, then I'm gonna call you out on your shit. I'm going to read you for filth, and I'm gonna tell you to shove your shit where the sun don't shine. That's what I'm gonna do.
And it's things like this that makes people they hide. The people I want a world where people can live their true selves. They can live their true identity. They would not hide their true identity because of ultra instinct and the people like him. What people do in the privacy of their bedroom, how does that affect you?
It doesn't.
How does it affect you?
Or even right people of different gender identities, because I have to bring that up secondary because they're not mutually exclusive, right? But it's so weird to me that people will over sexualize people, will over sexualize identities, right? Because that's essentially what they do, right? But like I said, these attitudes come directly from religion. It comes directly from it. So even if you are an atheist, right, we in the Western world, we are brought up in Christian societies. We're brought up in societies where the Abrahamic religions are of the most important, and specifically Christianity, right? So if we acknowledge that, then we also are being brought up in a world that teaches that being anything other than cis and hetero is inherently wrong, and that indoctrination comes directly from the church.
It's crazy.
See, I don't get it. Like I said, with the being a white person being taught about the actual history of things that happened and told that like us white people historically have done some very awful things, and there are still white people today doing some really fucking awful things. I didn't feel that because I'm white, I'm evil. I am cis and het, right? And and LGBTQ people, the all the media attention that's going on about actually getting real equal rights, all those sorts of things have, again, never made me feel like I'm an awful person for liking what I like and identifying with who I identify and what I identify. I never once felt that I should feel guilty because I don't like pussy. What? That's literally against the idea of what the LGBT community is for.
So
they're not going to shame you for being cis, but
Villa, you might not like it, but then you wouldn't then turn around and hate on people who do.
No, not at all. Like, and I don't get why it's a big deal. Why is it such a big deal? I don't like pussy, so I'm not gonna eat it. Same as you don't like a dick up your butt, don't put one up there.
No,
Why
girl,
is it
they have one. The way that they are so stiff, they don't have. It sounds like they need. You know what? Let me not be facetious.
Oh, I love it. Like, it isn't that hard to just say, do you know what? Look at your life, right? As let's say you're a cis, heterosexual, white person. And you're like, do you know what? It's been great seeing people like me on the TV, playing the good guy, the bad guy, anyone, right? It's been great seeing relationships about the struggles I face and in relationships, things like that, right? That's great. Now think, wouldn't that feeling feel great for another person?
It would.
Another person that, let's say, historically disabled people, because I'm disabled, so I identify easier with it. Historically, in movies, they've either played the villain, like the super villain. Oh, look, they've got a disability and now they're like going to blow up the planet. Then there's a story arc of they're a disabled person that's just so angry at the world. And they're angry because of their disability, but they learn to love again. Or inspiration porn. Look at this cripple. Oh, look at them crippling about all crippled. Look at them. Look, they achieved the thing. They were a runner and then they had to have their leg amputated. And they became a Paralympian. Ah! I'm not your inspiration porn. I am not evil because I'm disabled. And I'm not angry at the world because I'm disabled. I don't have to fall into those three categories. Seeing people, there's now a TV series being made about a deaf Marvel hero. And now, not Deadshot, what's his name? The Archer guy. He was deaf. Hawkeye, yes, thank you. Hawkeye was deaf in the comics, and then he got hearing aids and gone back and forth. They're now making him deaf as a character again in the TV series. That's great, seeing a superhero with an actual fucking disability and showing the reality of that, the obstacles you face, and not pussyfooting around and not making it overly inspirational or overly cliche, just real. Showing that so people with those problems can see it and see a normal representation. How absolutely amazing that makes you feel. It makes you feel like you're seen and visible, and that people care enough to show that on the TV. Now, why can't other people have that? Why is that so difficult to show a gay couple having a nice moment, like you see a straight couple? No one's asking you to jack off to it. No one's asking you to do it. It's just that, seeing it and being represented. So who the people it is
but that
for
goes to show you how powerful
validated.
representation is. That's exactly what that shows, how
It's
powerful,
so powerful.
representation is. Because once you're represented, and more so accurately represented, right, then all of these stereotypes fall to the wayside.
Yeah.
And what you see is people being able to see themselves. And I think that's oftentimes what people miss is being able to see yourself is so important. And that's oftentimes what people who are marginalized face. For example, with the conversation, Miss Esther, that we have in the Black community, right, is colorism, right? And how like younger girls of darker hues in the Black community, different hair textures, right, are now being able to see themselves, right? Because we're giving representation to those women, right? Because being of a lighter complexion, right? I was always able to see myself, right? Even though I experienced racism and anti-Blackness, right? I was always able to see myself in media, and darker skinned women in particular were not able to receive that. So it does nothing for me to use my lighter hue to for the voices of people in my community who are more marginalized, right? Due to like the intersection of being both Black and dark skinned, right? The same thing applies here. It's representation is important. People need to be able to see themselves.
It's like I heard it said that ages ago when the Kardashians first came on. I know, like, the Kardashians are very
oh my god, they are
subject.
So problematic.
They're very problematic, but also someone was saying that, like, where they loved them so much when they first came out because it's the first time they'd ever seen on TV someone that was like a bit thicker, a bit darker, that wasn't the blonde haired, blue-eyed, flat like a washboard. And they finally felt that they had some form of representation, things like that. I don't know any of this personal experience, but I've heard from people in the UK that, like, one woman, she is Black. She's like a very dark shade of black, and she was saying how growing up in Wales, in a one horse town, she experienced a very different kind of racism, and obviously she learned to speak like everyone else in the area, right? Then moving to a city, she got told that she wasn't really Black and she wasn't really part of the Black community because she didn't face the same struggles that they faced in a city, but also because of the way she spoke, because she spoke properly.
Right. And that is also when we get into internalized anti-Blackness, right?
And that was a bit crazy to me because, like, they're literally saying because you don't sound like the stereotypical city Black person, because you don't talk with a like urbanized accent, you don't use slang constantly or things like that, you're not part of the Black community. It's like, why should that matter? Why is that?
It doesn't matter. And as we know, right, Miss Esther is a Nigerian descent. I'm African American, and although we're from two separate parts of the world, I see myself when I see Esther. I see my aunt. I see the image of my aunties and my grandmother and my cousin when I look at Miss Esther. Right? I'm like, and although we're from two different parts of the world, I can see myself. Right? Exactly. And it's very strange, right? Because this is definitely a conversation that we need to have about how about people growing up in different places. It's definitely a conversation. I'm like, Miss Esther, I hope you come to that conversation because I'm actually planning that on the Clubhouse.
Okay. I will come. Just ping me.
Okay, girl. You know I got you.
Do you have your own channel, darling?
No, this is Clubhouse.
I am on an app called Clubhouse, and I am the founder of a group called Controversial Blackness on Clubhouse. This centers the voices of Black women and Black members of the LGBTQ community. But I also go around the app and also do education. I'm like on the experience of Black women and queer people, and I also call out Christians on their bullshit.
Awesome. Ooh, I have one question for you because I think you dropped out the room when Esther said this, but have you heard about the Juvia's Place thing that's happened?
I've heard a little bit about it, but I don't have a lot of detail.
I'm going to be looking into it and doing a video on it, hopefully. And I did want to get a few black women to get in on the conversation, because obviously I'm white as fuck. I ain't got no idea about half of this.
I will definitely do my research. Miss Esther actually has my Instagram. So so after the live, I'm like, actually, Miss Esther, do you still allow people to sit around for a while after the live is complete?
Yes, you can do that.
Okay,
yes.
so I'll give you the information after the show, girl.
Oh, awesome! Thank you.
And saying that, it's nearly midnight here.
Oh wow! I'm so sorry. We sort of got a bit off topic, but I still maintain not really, because I do think it's a big reason as to why people are leaving Christianity. We're a more accepting generation.
And I am here for it.
We're having this conversation because I know it's one of the reasons why I left Christianity, right? I'm like, and also just realizing that the stories didn't add up. But I'm like, but also the way that Christians claim to be all loving, but treat people so terribly. I'm actually in a Facebook group, and I hope y'all guys join. It's so funny. It's called There's No Love Like Christian Hate. It's a Facebook group on
woman,
Facebook.
Why don't you put the link? Why don't you put the link?
Yeah, put the link in the private chat. I'll put it in there. And Doug was going to say something. Doug?
I was going to say, Villa's right, but every bad thing that humans do to each other has a root of religion. Always has, always will do. Racism, all these phobias we have, conspiracies, and whatever you can think of that humans are bad at and are bad to one another is always that, and especially the Abrahamic religions as well.
Oh my Lord!
I maintain I would happily give up my religion right this second, and that's it. Become an atheist if it meant, and for everyone else to do the same, so we could get rid of all this hate and this bullshit. I would happily, in a heartbeat, give up all my faith.
So it's the root of it, right? And I know people don't want to admit that to be true, and I know there's going to be some people who are in the Abrahamic religions are going to have a problem with me saying this, but it needs to be said, right? The Abrahamic religions are responsible for all the hate.
They're really hateful, really hateful.
Y'all are responsible. Y'all are responsible for the oppressions of other people, and y'all have to answer for that.
Yeah.
Look out for number one. You're on Clubhouse. Oh.
I'm everywhere.
Oh, are you following me on Clubhouse? Hey?
Why not? Why not, girl? Why not? We need to make some noise.
Download it just for you, Michaela.
Oh my God!
I need to. What's your name on Clubhouse? Let me find you. Look out for
girl.
Number one.
It's just Michaela Raymond.
No, you won't.
Michaela, no, not you. We follow each other on Clubhouse. It's
oh yeah, girl.
Today I was in the room with Darth Dawkins. He was oh my goodness.
Miss Esther, I never see you in spaces. Why don't I get the notifications? You gotta ping me more because I don't see enough in the UK room.
I'm not usually there. I'm not usually on Clubhouse. It's just something I've started just going back on. Oh my goodness. How do people have conversation with him? I don't know how to do it. I can't.
Easy. He's easily tackleable. You just ask him the questions he asked you.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I say, he backs you into a corner and makes you look stupid. That's his deal. He makes you try to answer questions that you cannot answer. He just backs you into a corner, and he's good at it. Very good at it. If you just reverse it on him and ask him the same questions and change reality to his belief, then he can't answer them either. He's a fucking idiot. Well, he doesn't realise this yet. But I've seen a couple of people do it to him, and he just gets shouty and argumentative. And moderators usually ask him to calm down. But that's just the way he is. He's just a well-known pain in the arse. He's like that fart in the lift that you don't want. He's there. He just hovers about, lingers.
Hey, normalizing atheism. Hello. Normalizing atheism. I would love that. That would be the ideal.
I'm like, we definitely
ideal
need to
world.
normalize it.
That would be the ideal world, to normalize atheism.
I'm like, you know what's crazy? A lot of my family doesn't even know I'm an atheist. They probably still think I'm Christian. But
they're
then
all
again,
still religious, are they?
I'm like, honey, I'm like, and they're foolish and they're transphobic and homophobic and every ism that you can think. Girl, it's just a mess. Religion does so much damage to people, and I wish we could do away with it.
It really does.
I get the six genetic markers that make up the hetero, lesbian, bisexual, whatever. People have now. It's the other 100 that I don't get. Where the fuck did they come from?
Who?
100 identities. What's that all about?
What's 100 identities? There's 100 identities.
So essentially, there's a few new letters that were added to the LGBTQ identity. I think that was more so that people realized that there were people. We basically named people put a name to different identities and stuff. I'm still learning as I go along about the other members of the community.
I gave up, Michaela. I'll take a person who they are, wherever.
I actually do this work, so I can't exactly give up because I'm a whole activist in these streets.
We need people like you. Hi, Michaela.
So
we need
it's my
people
job
like you
to literally educate. I actually am going to do. I'm going to do a work. I'm actually going out to talk to some people next month, actually for Black History Month, about actually Black Maternity Day here in my area. So I definitely look forward to that, and I'm definitely going to be. I have some great, phenomenal women in my area to help me facilitate that conversation.
Oh,
it's sad, Michaela, that you have to be an activist. That's all I can say. I mean, you could be living your life.
And hopefully one day activism won't be needed because what I hope is that one day we can all be on the even level playing field, so activism isn't necessarily needed.
Yeah,
it's only needed because we're not equal.
Well, you get the gay pride marches and things like that. They're always fun. One in London's fun.
I actually went to New York Pride last year. It was a blast.
Was it good?
Yeah, there's always a laugh.
It is a blast. I actually do want to visit the UK sometime in the next couple of years.
I've been to one. My local area was it was most of the people there were really young people. Oh, I only stopped listening to some of the music and then left. Well,
I actually have a lot of people from the UK that follow me on Clubhouse. Actually,
oh wow.
They be following me because of this. I'm like, I really want to try. I see so much about tea and crumpets in TV shows. I want to try it. I want to try English tea.
Villa tea and crumpets.
Yes, I want to try English tea. I'm like, I want to live my rich fantasy. So I'm going
to
with the small
tea party with a teapot. I've got a tea set, proper nice little teapot, cups, saucers, a lot.
Oh, that's the English.
You can have a nice
English tea
party in a nice garden or something. Or I'll take you to a castle for a tea party.
Ooh.
You can be well bougie. We can dress up like princesses and everything. It'll be amazing.
Nice. Guys, it's nearly midnight and some of us need to start thinking about going to bed. And it's been a lovely time having this conversation. We spent about 2 hours, 45 minutes already. Oh my.
Wow.
So before we round up, just anybody have any words you want to say? Why people should wake up from religion, Christianity, and why people need to just realize that it's all just man-made. So, or whatever,
Well,
you can
I
say
mean,
whatever you want to say.
To
My
be
last
fair,
word-
Esther, we can't speed the process up. What we do, it won't speed it up, but it's happening anyway. We know it's on the decline, and it will always be on the decline. People are, especially in schools, children are, as we become more and more secular, children realise that these things are ridiculous. These stories are ridiculous. So, they're the ones that are struggling with convincing the kids. Fair enough, they're easy to convince. The last one, that was the worst one, I thought, was you're born with sin. You're born with it. So from the day you take your first breath, you're a sinner. There's the fears start before you even realise it. The fear is still there. And this is what they do. And it's all about control and fear and this and that. It boils down to they want your money at the end of the day. That's all it is. And they'll take what they can and when they can. And the more people they can get involved in their religion, the more money they'll get, the more people will pay. But it's declining, it's going, and it's nice to have these chats of how stupid people are who believe in this. I'm not saying they're stupid in, normality, but their beliefs are stupid because they can't see it is laughable. It really is. But it's on the decline, and I'm glad about that. It'll never happen in our lifetimes, probably our grandchildren's lifetime, whatnot. And I think we've got generations ago before it's wiped complete. As I say, it's held back humanity so much. We should have colonies on Alpha Centauri now.
Yeah.
We should have cracked the space.
But
race
we got pretty oil paintings and stuff in the museums that we stole from other countries.
Oh, don't get me wrong.
That they don't want to give back.
I'm joking.
That they don't want to give back.
Religion.
Yeah. People say, oh yeah, there was the Dark Ages and all, but we got beautiful artwork from it. Yeah, that's great. We sacrifice scientific breakthroughs for art.
Right. Villa, do you want to say anything?
I don't normally cover religious stuff or anything on my channel. I cover idiots and bad people doing awful things, like lost cows, things like that. Yeah, but I'm not necessarily like mean. I mean, I am mean, but I'm not just mean for the sake of it. I do cover the actual bad people, like the child abuser ones, not just they're annoying and on the internet a lot. Not that that's a bad thing. It's just it doesn't get me angry enough to want to cover it. Do you get what I mean? So I normally cover like those lot. And I'm just under V for Vendetta. And yeah, if you want to see what I do, come and visit. You don't have to stay around if you don't like it. It's fine. I will not be upset. Thank you.
I'll put the link to your channel in.
And girl, we'll talk after the chat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And look out for number one.
Just quiet. Listen to girls.
Sorry.
You don't butt in when your girls are going. Nah, but it's good. It's good. It's good. It's
Where is it? So I'm trying to find something.
But definitely last words. Abrahamic religions do not serve humanity, right? They just don't. And then also, right, being atheist just relieves you of all the distress that comes from being being in religion. Like you don't have, like there's no purity culture. There's no all of this other stuff. You can just be, and not have to shrink yourself. So come over to this side, girl.
Oh, see? Be calm says religion kills your true potential in life.
It sure does.
It really does.
Okay. Look up for number 1. Did you say anything? No? Yes, no?
No, I didn't.
And you didn't want to say your last words before we close?
Well, I think unfortunately, I'm gonna say this definitely. Unfortunately, men has dominated the freaking planet from the moment we were bipedals, right? Yeah, and then religious doctrine came along, right? And then the state saying, "Oh, we hold the fucking power, and the female subordinate to us," right? And that's bullshit as well. But it was a good thing for male, right? And because the women were subjugated and they could not overpower us. I've been an asshole. Do you understand what I mean? Yeah, right. Yeah, I've been an asshole, right? So you have to fucking take it, and that's not cool, right? But fucking hell, it is okay to be different. It is fucking okay to be different, right? And the problem with any religion is that when they're not forcing us, we can say things to other people to say our feelings, right? And then you feel good about it, yeah, and then you open up, not just like coming out of the closet, but you feel like you have a friend next door, right? And then you grow, and then you become more of what you can. That's what that guy said. What is it? You can show your true potential, right? It doesn't matter what field you do, right? From astronauts to making nails, you know what I mean? It doesn't fucking matter, yeah, because you can be the best of the best at that field and excel, right? And that's it. Fortunately, we're winning, right? Secular society are winning, right? And we have more people being different, and that's good. Right, and then we show by going to events and this and that, and then it is expanding, and that is good, right? And that's it.
Amen.
People, amen. Say hallelujah.
Amen, brother.
Yes.
Doug.
I personally would like to see that phrase "coming out the closet" disappear altogether.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Children. There's children now who are realizing what they are at a very young age, and you know they're getting all these like hormone suppressants and things like that given to them, and they know what they are, and that's who they are. You know, you're never going to stop it. You can't change that fact. And the second these people don't have to hide and are frightened to come out and say who they are, I think it'll be a better world for everyone, because you know, people have a child when he's born and say, well, one of you going to be gay? You maybe should give him a girl's middle or whatever. It doesn't matter. When people can accept through education that, you know, it's who these people are or who you are. Anyone could be anyone. Who cares? As long as they're nice and pleasant.
These parents need to stop taking it like it's an affront to their parenting. It's not.
Right. It's not. Right.
That's another thing.
Let's just break it down. If you as a parent cannot accept the child that you brought into this world for who they authentically are, then you don't need to be a parent. And I would say that numerous time and time again. Do not bring children into the world if you have conditions on how you're going to love them. because it is traditional with a lot of parents. If they do not stay in these very strict confined boxes, you'll ostracize your own kid.
Yeah, so that means
your own kid.
That means that their love for the kids come with conditions.
It does all the time, and that is also
And
what Christianity teaches.
It shouldn't.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. There is a condition to the love I have for my daughter.
And what's the
I don't
condition?
think I could love her if she murders someone.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, no.
That is the length that my love goes. If she
will it stop you?
Someone,
it won't stop you loving her, but of course you would not be in support of.
No, not at all. But like there is that limit. Like I'm not going to pretend that there isn't. There always is with parents. There is that, and it should be the level of like if they rape someone, if they abuse a partner or a person, things like that.
Those are
kind
of different
acceptable
things.
limits.
Not them being terrorized for who they are at home.
Yeah, like the acceptable limits are when they have done the most abominable things to people.
Like
not that they just like a different gender to you.
I'm telling you that, hey, mommy, I'm a girl, or I'm a boy, or I'm non-binary. Like, that is not where your love stops for your child. You don't treat your child differently because of who they are. You just don't do that. I'm like, but if my child came and told me that they had actually done something, like harmed something, I'm like, was a predator or something, then that is a completely different conversation.
Yeah.
But oftentimes they try to equate those two things together. But here's the thing, right? I'm like, if you are a predator, that means someone is a victim, right? And the difference between that and being in the LGBT community is that it does not require a victim.
No, because of a magical word called consent.
Consent. That's conversation for another day. But for now, I think we said it all. Said it all, and yeah, it's 5 past midnight. Oh goodness,
guys!
Thank you all. No, you're welcome. You're welcome, and thank you all for
coming.
No, thank you all for coming to have these conversations. I appreciate them. Krishna says, hands up and let's see those wallets. Unfortunately, they're too far away, Krishna. You can't see nobody's wallet.
I don't have a wallet. The last church took it. There wasn't any more money in it, so they just took the wallet.
Well, they are set direct debit now.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Good night, and yeah, see you tomorrow. Right. See you all. Good night.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Wait, let me do the usual stuff. Good night.